In the next 60 seconds, you'll learn how to get the most out of this Microsoft Interactive course.
To start, double-click a unit and lesson title in the table of contents. Then double-click a topic to play.
Use these buttons on the dashboard to stop, pause, or play. Use these buttons to jump ahead or jump back within a topic and to move between topics.
These buttons link you to more information, such as glossary definitions, tips, additional reference material, and help.
You can take lessons sequentially, or you can train on individual topics as you need them. For a searchable index of the entire course, click the Find Keyword and Index button, then click a topic in the list to play.
You can also create a personalized list of topics with the Add Bookmark button. Click the Show Bookmarks button to see your list of favorite topics, then click a topic to play.
We hope you enjoy learning with this Microsoft Interactive course. For more information on using Microsoft Interactive training, be sure to see Product Help.
All around the world, people are discovering different ways to use computers. Microsoft Windows XP Professional offers new features for productivity and entertainment and improved Internet tools that help you stay in touch with others and locate information quickly. Windows also enables you to efficiently manage files, programs, and hardware devices.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe the key features of Microsoft Windows XP Professional. You'll also be able to log on to and log off from Windows. You'll be able to start and quit programs, and you'll be able to set up a computer for multiple users. Finally, you'll be able to use a password to protect a computer.
Welcome to Windows XP Professional.
Microsoft Windows XP Professional builds upon the features, performance, and stability of Microsoft Windows 2000 and provides improved security, reliability, and performance. Windows XP provides built-in connectivity to corporate networks, wireless networks, and virtual private networks. In addition, it simplifies publishing information to intranet or internet websites and is the first Windows operating system to fully integrate .NET features. This integration helps provide a seamless dynamic experience to computers that are connected to the web.
Windows XP also includes a desktop that's easy to configure and support. The Remote Assistance feature enables technical support access to a computer from a remote site, allowing you to sit back and relax while a trusted person runs applications and diagnoses your system. In addition, Windows includes security tools like a personal firewall that protects your system from hackers when connected to the Internet.
While connected to the network, you can use Windows XP to share resources such as files, printers, and modems with others in the company. An Internet connection sharing feature is available for enabling computers to simultaneously share access to the Internet. Windows XP also includes an improved version of Internet Explorer for web browsing and an improved version of Outlook Express for sending email messages.
Windows XP includes enhancements for mobile users. Work time can be increased if you use power management support features to maximize the battery life of your portable computer. All these features help you gather, manage, and use information efficiently and enable you to collaborate with others and conduct business in new ways.
Logging on and logging off.
In this exercise, you'll learn to log on to Windows. You'll also learn to describe the difference between logging off and turning off the computer. Finally, you'll learn to log off Windows.
Windows makes it easy for several users to share a computer while enabling each user to have personalized settings and folders. During Windows installation, you're asked whether you want to share your computer with other users. If you choose to do so, you are asked to provide names for each user account on the computer. The Suki White and Eva Koretz user accounts were created during Windows installation.
To log on using the Eva Koretz account, click Eva Koretz. To enter the account password, type the text that appears in the text window. Logging on with a username and password helps ensure network security and maintain the privacy of personal files. Press Enter. The settings for the Eva Koretz account are applied, and you're logged on to Windows.
Let's assume that you've been working on the computer for some time and want to log off. Click the Start button. When you log off, you exit the user account, but the computer remains on for easy access the next time you log on. When you're ready to shut down the computer, you can use the Turn Off Computer command. Keep in mind that if you shut down with programs running, you risk losing information.
Go ahead and click Log Off. Here you can choose to switch users instead of logging off. When you switch users, open programs are not closed. When you log back on, you can continue to use the open programs exactly where you left off. You don't need to switch user accounts, so click Log Off again. Windows saves your user settings and returns you to the Welcome screen.
Using the Start menu.
In this exercise, you'll learn to start a program using the Start menu. You'll also learn to start a program using the Quick Launch bar. You'll learn to quit a program. Finally, you'll learn to open Control Panel.
The Start menu provides access to all of the programs and files on your computer. By using the Start menu, you perform such tasks as starting programs, opening documents, and customizing your system. To open this menu, click the Start button. The Start menu enables easy access to the Internet, email accounts, and all of the folders and tools on your computer. Shortcuts to the programs that you've used recently are automatically added in this area of the menu.
This arrow indicates that all programs installed on your computer are available on a secondary menu called a submenu. To open a program on that menu, point to All Programs, point to Accessories, and then click Paint. Let's assume that you're finished working in the Paint program and you need to close it. Click the File menu and click Exit.
Although the Start menu gives you centralized access to all programs on your computer, you can also open programs using the Quick Launch bar, which provides single-click access to Microsoft Internet Explorer and other programs. To display the Quick Launch bar, right-click an open area on the Windows taskbar, point to Toolbars, and then click Quick Launch on the shortcut menu. The Quick Launch bar is displayed.
To open Internet Explorer, click the Launch Internet Explorer browser button on the Quick Launch bar. Internet Explorer opens. You can add shortcuts to the Quick Launch toolbar by dragging them to the toolbar. To close this program, click the Close button on the title bar of the Internet Explorer window.
Click the Start button again. Because you previously opened the Paint program, the Paint shortcut now appears in the Recently Used Programs area of the Start menu. Internet Explorer and Outlook Express are frequently used by many computer users, so they're available by default. Click Control Panel.
Using Control Panel, you can change the theme and appearance of your desktop items, connect to the Internet, and install or remove programs and Windows components. You can also add hardware, maintain user account settings, as well as change your computer's date and time. Click the Close button on the title bar of the Control Panel window.
Windows provides you with the tools you need to easily access programs and maintain your computer.
Managing Open Windows.
In this exercise, you'll learn to minimize and maximize open windows. You'll also learn to restore a minimized window. You'll learn to switch between open windows. Finally, you'll learn to minimize several open windows at once.
If you have several windows open at a time, you can quickly switch between them and adjust their display size. To allow more space for viewing taskbar buttons that will appear in this exercise, the Quick Launch bar has been temporarily removed. Let's open a WordPad document window. Double-click the Correspondence folder. Now double-click the DON01 file to open it in its own window.
You can maximize a window to get a better view of what you're working on. Click the Maximize button. The window expands to fill the screen. Notice that this button has changed to the Restore Down button, indicating that clicking it will return the window to its original size. Click the Restore Down button now. The window returns to its original size.
To make an open window active, you can click its title bar. Click the title bar of the Correspondence window. This taskbar button appears pressed in and the title bar color changes, indicating that the Correspondence window is active. Let's minimize this window using the taskbar button. Click the Correspondence button on the Windows taskbar. The window is now minimized.
You can also minimize a window using this button. Click the Minimize button on the title bar of the DON01 window. Now click the Correspondence button on the Windows taskbar to restore that window.
To open another program, click the Start button and click Paint. If more than one window is open, Windows groups similar applications together. Click the Correspondence button on the Windows taskbar and then double-click DON02. The WordPad taskbar buttons are grouped together, and the Paint button has moved to the right.
Windows also collapses taskbar buttons into one if there are multiple windows open within the same application. Click the Minimize button on the title bar of the DON02 window. To open the remaining files at the same time, click Draft Training Report, hold down Shift, and click Vacation Request. Now click the File menu and click Open. The taskbar buttons for the 5 opened WordPad documents are merged.
To switch to a different WordPad document, click the taskbar button and click SUAN01 in the list. Now that the taskbar buttons for these windows are grouped together, you can minimize all of them at the same time. Right-click the WordPad taskbar button and click Minimize Group on the shortcut menu.
Let's close all the WordPad windows at the same time. Right-click the WordPad taskbar button and click Close Group on the shortcut menu. The windows close and the taskbar button disappears.
Using Windows, you can run multiple programs simultaneously and move between several open windows on the desktop.
Setting up your computer for multiple users.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a new user account. You'll also learn to assign a password to an account and change the picture for an account. Finally, you'll learn to switch between user accounts.
Suppose you need to add a user account so that the new user can share the computer. Let's add Don Funk as a new user account on this computer. In order to add accounts, you must be logged on using an administrator account. Click User Accounts. Now click Create a new account. To provide a name for the account, type Don Funk and then click Next.
On this page, you select an account type to determine the amount of access that the user will have on the computer. For instance, a user with a computer administrator account can make system-wide changes to the computer, including creating accounts and installing programs. Don Funk's account should not allow him to make system-wide changes, install hardware and software, or create accounts, so click Limited and click Create Account. A new account for Don has been created.
To change some of the settings for this account, click below the scroll box on the scroll bar and click Don Funk. To assign a password to this account, click Create a Password. Type password, press the Tab key, and type password again. Click Create Password. A simple password has been created. When Don logs on to the computer for the first time, he'll need to make sure to change his password to a more secure one.
To change the picture associated with Don's account, click Change the Picture. You can select an image on this page, or you can browse for more pictures. Click this image and click Change Picture. The picture for this account is changed, so go ahead and click the Close button on the title bar of the User Accounts window.
Using the Switch User feature in Windows, multiple users can have their accounts active simultaneously without one interfering with the other. Let's switch from the Eva Koretz account and log on as Don Funk. Click the Start button on the Windows taskbar and click Log Off. Now click Switch User. Notice that the Eva Koretz account is still in use, and any programs that the Eva Koretz account had open remain that way. Click Don Funk. The password will be typed for you. Now press Enter. The account settings for Don Funk are applied and you're logged on to Windows.
By creating multiple user accounts, you can share a computer with others and still keep your personalized settings intact.
Protecting your computer.
In this exercise, you'll learn to change a Windows password and select a password-protected screensaver.
In this exercise, you are logged on using an account named Don Funk. Let's assume that this account needs a more secure password. In Control Panel, click User Accounts. Because Don's account does not have administrator permissions, you can change the password for Don's account only. Click Change My Password.
In this text box, you'll need to provide the original account password. Type Password. Press the Tab key. Now you need to type the new password. Keep in mind that a secure password is at least 8 characters long, contains both letters and numbers, has lower and uppercase letters, and does not contain words found in a dictionary. Go ahead and type the text that appears in the text window. Press the Tab key and then type the text again.
Here you can provide a password hint to help you remember the password. Click in this text box and type Favorite State. Click Change Password. Now click the Close button on the title bar of the User Accounts window. Your password is now more secure.
If you ever leave your computer unattended, you can prevent others from using it by setting up a password-protected screensaver. To customize the screensaver settings, click Appearance and Themes. Now click Choose a Screensaver. Click the Screensaver arrow. Windows allows you to use the images in your My Pictures folder as a slideshow screensaver. Click My Pictures Slideshow.
Leaving this checkbox selected will lock your computer when the screensaver is activated. When you begin working again, you'll be prompted to enter your password to unlock the computer. Your screensaver password is the same as your logon password. After 10 minutes of computer inactivity, the screensaver will appear and you'll be required to enter a password to return to the Windows desktop. Click OK to save the changes.
By creating and using passwords, you can increase the security of your computer.
In this lesson, you learned about key features in Windows XP, including .NET integration, remote assistance, and improvements for mobile users.
You logged on to Windows, switched between users on a computer shared by multiple users, and logged off Windows.
You started a program using the Start menu and the Quick Launch bar.
You minimized, maximized, and switched between program windows.
You created a new user account and changed the picture associated with that account.
Finally, you created and changed a Windows password and set up a password-protected screensaver. You might occasionally need help completing a task or solving a problem with your computer. Microsoft Windows XP Professional includes resources that you can use to find helpful information. Whether you need to perform a task, troubleshoot a problem, or simply learn more about how your computer works, Windows enables you to easily locate the information you need.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to use Help and Support Center. You'll also be able to use a Windows troubleshooter. Finally, you'll be able to get help in a dialog box.
Taking advantage of help and support.
In this exercise, you'll learn to open Help and Support Center and find help online. You'll also learn to use keywords to search the help index. Finally, you'll learn to find help by searching for specific text.
Whether you need help completing a task, want to know more about a Windows feature, or are interested in better understanding your computer, you can use Help and Support Center to find information. Click the Start button and click Help and Support.
Help and Support Center looks and functions like a web page, with buttons at the top of the page that you can use to perform certain actions, such as moving between pages and browsing a list of help links you've recently visited. The left side of the Help and Support Center homepage includes links to categories of help topics, tours, and troubleshooters. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar.
The home page also displays a list of links to online articles that can help you learn more about computing. These links are updated regularly as new articles become available. In addition, there are links to categories of support features. Click above the scroll box on the scroll bar.
These links can help you check for the latest system updates, check for compatible software and hardware, restore Windows to a previous state, and manage your computer. If you're connected to the Internet, you can also get help online. Under Ask for Assistance, click this task. Using remote assistance, you can allow a person you trust to connect to and take control of your computer via a local network or over the Internet to solve a problem. You can also communicate with other Windows users through newsgroups that host forums and message boards, or you can ask a support professional for help by using Microsoft Online Assisted Support.
If you want to look for information related to specific words or phrases, you can search for topics by keyword using the Help Index. For example, to search for information about desktop themes, click Index. Type Themes. Notice that the index list has scrolled to the first entry matching the word you typed. To view the Desktop Themes Overview topic, click Overview and then click Display. An overview of desktop themes is displayed. You can click any green underlined words in a help topic to display the definition of the specified term.
To find a more specific piece of information, you can search the full text of all help topics. Let's search for topics that contain the word mouse. Click in the search box and type mouse. Click the Start Searching button. Your search returns 30 different results. To display a topic about how to adjust the double-click speed for your mouse, click this link.
By taking advantage of the range of features in Help and Support Center, you can easily answer many of the questions that you might have about using Windows.
Using a Windows troubleshooter.
In this exercise, you'll learn to use the Printing Troubleshooter to resolve a problem.
Suppose you're having trouble solving a problem with a printer installed on your computer. Windows Troubleshooting Tools can help. To open the Printing Troubleshooter, click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Fixing a Problem.
Help and Support Center displays a variety of troubleshooting and maintenance tasks, as well as a troubleshooting overview. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Printing Problems. Click Printing Troubleshooter. Windows troubleshooters use a question and answer format to help you identify and resolve problems. Click the My Document Doesn't Print at All option button. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Next.
The troubleshooter displays questions and instructions designed to help you isolate the problem. Click twice below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click this option button and click Next.
The troubleshooter displays a question about whether you're printing to a network or local printer. If you're unsure, the troubleshooter can investigate it for you. You're trying to print to a local printer, so click this option button and then click Next.
You're prompted to specify whether or not you can print from a command prompt. You can expand these options for step-by-step instructions on how to test this on your computer. Let's assume that the problem has been tested and hasn't been resolved. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click the No, I cannot print from a command prompt option button and then click Next.
The troubleshooter displays another possible solution to the problem. Assume that the printer is turned on and online. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click this option button and click Next.
The troubleshooter suggests resetting the printer by turning it off for a brief time. Let's assume that the printer attached to this computer has been turned off and back on again. Click the Yes, this solves the problem option button. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar and then click Next.
If the problem hadn't been resolved, the printing troubleshooter would have continued helping you try to isolate and solve the problem. Troubleshooters can be an effective way to identify and resolve a wide variety of problems with the hardware, software, and operating system installed on your computer.
Getting help in a dialog box.
In this exercise, you'll learn to get help for items in a dialog box. You'll also learn to print a pop-up Help topic.
What's This Help enables you to quickly learn the function of buttons, options, and other items in a dialog box. Let's get help for items in the Display Properties dialog box. Right-click an empty area of the desktop and click Properties on the shortcut menu. Click the Desktop tab.
To quickly find out what the Browse button does, click the Help button on the title bar of the dialog box. Notice that the pointer changes to include a question mark. This indicates that you can click an item in the dialog box to display information about it. Click Browse. A pop-up window appears that describes the functionality of the Browse button. To close the pop-up window, click inside it.
You can also get help on an item by using a shortcut menu. Right-click Customize Desktop and click What's This on the shortcut menu.
Windows enables you to save a copy of the information in a pop-up window so that you can refer to it later. You can either print the text or copy it to the Windows clipboard. To print the pop-up Help topic, right-click the pop-up window and click Print Topic on the shortcut menu. Click Print.
What's This Help enables you to quickly learn the function of buttons, options, and other items in a dialog box.
In this lesson, you opened Help and Support Center and learned about different online support features such as remote assistance.
You found help by using keywords to search the help index and by searching help topics for specific text.
You used the Printing Troubleshooter to resolve a printing problem.
You identified dialog box elements and their functions by using What's This Help, and you printed a pop-up help topic. Microsoft Windows XP Professional enables you to personalize your computer in a variety of ways. By customizing visual, audio, regional, and accessibility settings, you can create a working environment that is best suited to your personal and professional needs.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to change and modify an existing desktop theme. You'll also be able to change the appearance of specific screen elements. You'll be able to customize an existing sound scheme. You'll also be able to customize the Windows taskbar and Start menu and change regional settings for your computer. Finally, you'll be able to set up accessibility features for people with disabilities.
Changing desktop themes.
In this exercise, you'll learn to change the default desktop theme to Windows Classic. You'll also learn to modify an existing theme.
Desktop themes are predetermined collections of visual settings. You can switch between different desktop themes, or you can modify an existing theme according to your preferences. To begin choosing a theme, click the Start button. Click Control Panel. Click Appearance and Themes. Now click Change the computer's theme.
In this dialog box, you can choose a desktop theme. A preview of the current theme is displayed here. Click the Theme arrow and then click Windows Classic.
This area displays a preview of the desktop, icons, and windows for the theme that you selected. To apply these settings and close the dialog box, click OK. Now click the Minimize button. The desktop and taskbar are displayed in the Windows Classic theme.
Now let's modify the desktop theme. Click the Appearance and Themes taskbar button. Click Change the computer's theme. Click the Appearance tab. To change the color of the screen elements, click the Color Scheme arrow and click Rows. A preview of the modified theme is displayed here.
You can click this button if you want to change visual effects such as the size of icons. To change the size of text, click this arrow and click Large. Click OK. Notice that the font size increases and the color of the title bars changes. Click the Minimize button. The modifications that you made to the Windows Classic theme are saved, and the desktop and taskbar display the color scheme that you selected.
Customizing the desktop appearance.
In this exercise, you'll learn to change the desktop background. You'll also learn to change the kinds of items that appear on the desktop.
Let's replace the desktop background with a picture. Right-click an empty area of the desktop and click Properties on the shortcut menu. Click the Desktop tab. Here you can choose a background from the list, or you can browse to an image stored elsewhere.
Click Browse. Now click My Documents. Double-click the My Pictures folder. Click the Pyramid file and then click Open.
A preview of the desktop appears here, and the file name is added to the list below. To accept the new background without closing the dialog box, click Apply. The picture of the pyramids now appears as the background.
Now let's make some changes to other screen elements. Click Customize Desktop. Here you can specify which icons appear on the desktop. If you want an item to appear, you can select its checkbox. If you don't want an item to appear, you can clear its checkbox.
Select the My Documents checkbox and then click OK. Click OK again. The desktop now displays the pyramid background and an icon for the My Documents folder.
Windows allows you to create a unique appearance for your desktop.
Adding a sound scheme.
In this exercise, you'll learn to specify a sound for a system event. You'll also learn to create a custom sound scheme.
If your computer has a sound card, Windows uses sounds to notify you when certain events occur. You can change the default sounds, and you can choose a sound for an event that doesn't have one by default. Click this link. Click Change the Sound Scheme.
The Program Events box lists all of the Windows events that you can associate sounds with. The speaker icons to the left of some event names indicate that those events already have a sound associated with them. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Exit Windows.
Let's choose a sound to play when Windows is shut down. Click the Sounds arrow and then click Chimes. To listen to the new sound, click this button. Now the chimes sound will play each time you exit Windows.
If you'd like to use different sets of sounds and quickly switch between them, you can click this arrow and select a sound scheme. To save your modifications as a new sound scheme, click Save As. Type Custom. Press Enter. The name for the new scheme is displayed here. To apply the changes, click OK.
After you customize the sounds your computer plays for specific events, you'll quickly become familiar with the meaning of each sound you hear.
Customizing the taskbar and Start menu.
In this exercise, you'll learn to customize the taskbar. You'll also learn to customize the Start menu. You'll learn to customize the notification area. Finally, you'll learn to unlock and move the taskbar.
You can use the Windows taskbar to display other toolbars that might help you use your computer more efficiently. Right-click an empty area of the taskbar, point to Toolbars, and then click Links on the shortcut menu. The Links toolbar appears on the Windows taskbar.
The double arrows on a toolbar indicate that more buttons are available. Click the arrows on the Links toolbar and then click Customize Links. The Customizing the Links bar web page appears. To close Internet Explorer, click the Close button.
To continue customizing the taskbar, right-click an empty area of the taskbar and then click Properties on the shortcut menu. You can use these options to change the appearance and functionality of the taskbar.
The notification area can become crowded with icons that appear when certain events occur, such as when you receive mail or open Windows Task Manager. You can use this area to hide or display notification icons at your discretion. You can select this checkbox to show the clock on the taskbar. To begin hiding the icon for Windows Task Manager, click Customize.
Now click this item. To change the behavior of the selected item, click this arrow and then click Always Hide. Click OK.
A notification balloon informs you that you can view the hidden icon by clicking this arrow. Click the balloon to hide it. Notice that the Task Manager icon is hidden from the notification area.
You can also use this dialog box to modify the Start menu. Click the Start menu tab. Windows XP offers two styles to choose from, the default Start menu and the Classic Start menu.
Click Classic Start menu and then click Customize. In this area, you can add or remove items from the Start menu, as well as clear any recently accessed documents, programs, and websites. These checkboxes enable you to specify advanced options for the Start menu.
Select the Expand My Documents checkbox. Click OK. Now you can use the Start menu to open items in the My Documents folder. To apply the changes to the Taskbar and Start menu, click OK again.
Now click the Start button. Notice that the Start menu appears as it did in previous versions of Windows. Point to Documents and then point to My Documents. The My Documents folder expands to display its contents. To close the Start menu, click the Start button.
The taskbar is currently locked, which prevents you from moving it or changing its size. To unlock the taskbar, right-click here and click Lock the Taskbar on the shortcut menu. Notice the dotted lines on the taskbar. These indicate that the taskbar is unlocked and can be moved. If you want to move the taskbar, you can drag an empty portion of it to a different edge of the desktop. Drag this area of the taskbar to here.
By modifying the Start menu and Taskbar, you can customize Windows to better suit the way you work. Changing regional settings.
In this exercise, you'll learn to change the time zone. You'll also learn to change the format of currency and dates. You'll learn to enable support for an additional input language. You'll learn to switch to a different input language. Finally, you'll learn to create a document that uses multiple languages.
Suppose that you're taking an extended trip overseas and need to adjust the regional settings for your computer accordingly. To begin adjusting date and time zone settings, click this category. Click Change the date and time.
You can change the date, month, and year in this area, and you can change the time in this area. The current time zone is displayed here. To change the time zone, click the Time Zone tab. Now click this arrow. Click this time zone. Notice that the map shifts to reflect the change in time zones. Click OK. The clock in the notification area of the taskbar is adjusted according to the new time zone.
You can also change the currency and date formats to reflect European conventions. To begin changing the currency format, click this task. The current regional setting displays currency and number formats used in the United States, but you can adjust this setting to display the European currency symbol instead.
Click Customize. Click the Currency tab. Click the currency symbol arrow. Click this symbol.
Let's also customize the date formats so that they reflect the European standard. Click the Date tab. Click the Short Date Format arrow. Click this format. Now click the Date Separator arrow and click the period.
To change the long date format, click this arrow. Click this format. To apply the new settings, click OK. Notice that examples of the changes are displayed here.
You can also change the Windows settings to support more than one language. Click the Languages tab. Click Details. Click Add. Click the Input Language arrow. Click this language.
Notice that the keyboard layout changes to match the new input language. Click OK. French is added to the list of available languages. Click OK. Click OK again.
This icon indicates that the current input language is English. To switch to the input language that you just added, click the language bar icon. Click this command.
To see how the new setting works with a program, click the Start button. Click WordPad. Because you've switched the input language, the keyboard layout has changed. Microsoft WordPad can now display French characters, such as the ones in this paragraph.
You can switch between available input languages at any time, even if you're currently editing a document in a different language. To switch languages, click the language bar icon and click English. You can now begin typing in English.
Before you add the English version of the paragraph header, click the bold button. Type a report to our retailers. The English version of the paragraph text will be added to the document for you.
Using Windows, you can easily create documents in multiple languages.
Making your computer more accessible.
In this exercise, you'll learn to start the Accessibility Wizard. You'll also learn to configure options that assist people with disabilities.
The Accessibility Wizard guides you through the process of enabling features that can assist people with disabilities. To start the Accessibility Wizard, click Accessibility Options. Now click Configure Windows to work for your vision, hearing, and mobility needs. Click Next.
On this page of the wizard, you can change the size of the text that's displayed on the screen. The default is fine, so click Next. Here you can change the font size and screen resolution, and you can specify whether to use Microsoft Magnifier and personalized menus. Magnifier creates a separate window that displays a magnified portion of the screen. Clear the Change the Font Size checkbox, and then click Next.
Windows includes a feature called Narrator to assist people with low vision. Narrator can read aloud menu commands, dialog box options, and more. Select this checkbox. For now, go ahead and select this checkbox. If you have limited mobility, you can select this checkbox to enable more accessibility features. You can also use the on-screen keyboard, which displays a virtual keyboard that you can manipulate with a pointing device or joystick.
You can select this checkbox if you want to set administrative options. You can also use Utility Manager, which enables you to start, stop, or check the status of an accessibility program. Administrators can set an accessibility program to start when Utility Manager starts. Click Next.
The scroll bar and window border sizes are fine, so click Next. Click Large and then click Next. High contrast display colors can help make screen text easier to read, so click High Contrast number 1. Click Next.
The high contrast color scheme is applied. On this page of the wizard, you can select the size and color of the pointer. Click this option and then click Next. These settings are fine, so click Next.
Sound Sentry displays visual warnings for system sounds. The warnings notify you each time a system event occurs that's associated with a sound. Click Yes and then click Next.
Show sounds can also help users who are deaf or hard of hearing. It enables some software programs to display captions for events that are usually indicated by a sound. Click Yes and click Next.
The Accessibility Wizard displays a list of the requested changes. Click Finish. Now click the Close button.
Notice that the screen displays high contrast colors, the recycle bin icon is larger, and the pointer is larger. Each time the computer plays a sound that's associated with a Windows event, you'll receive a visual cue.
Windows offers a wide range of options to make your computer more accessible.
In this lesson, you changed the default desktop theme to Windows Classic and modified an existing theme by using Appearance and Themes in Control Panel.
You changed the desktop background and the items that appear on the desktop by using the Display Properties dialog box.
You specified a sound for a system event and saved a custom sound scheme by using Control Panel.
You customized the taskbar and Start menu, customized notification for a specific event, and unlocked and moved the taskbar.
You adjusted regional settings, enabled support for an additional input language, and switched to a different input language by using Control Panel.
Finally, you set up accessibility features for people with hearing and vision disabilities by using the Accessibility Wizard.
In the past, installing and configuring a new hardware device for a computer could be a difficult task. Today, Microsoft Windows XP Professional uses a feature called Plug and Play that automatically detects and configures almost any new device. Windows also includes features that simplify manually installing, configuring, and managing devices.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe Plug and Play. You'll also be able to install and configure a hardware device. You'll be able to update a device driver. Finally, you'll be able to configure a computer to use multiple monitors.
Introduction to Plug and Play.
At some point, you might decide to install a new hardware device on your computer. Devices such as video cards and network adapter cards are connected to expansion slots inside a computer. Other devices, such as printers and digital cameras, are connected to ports on the outside of a computer. Before Windows is able to use a new device, the device needs to be configured properly and device drivers need to be installed. By supporting Plug and Play, Windows makes it easy to accomplish these tasks.
When you add a new plug-and-play device to a computer, Windows automatically detects the device and installs any necessary drivers. In most cases, all you need to do is connect the device, turn it on, and Windows will do the rest.
Windows configures each plug-and-play device so that it won't interfere with the operation of other hardware devices connected to a computer. For example, you can install multiple video cards and monitors on a computer without having to manually change the Windows configuration. Windows ensures that the devices will work together and that the computer will boot correctly after the changes are made.
Even if a device is not plug-and-play compatible, Windows might still be able to detect it and install the appropriate driver. Device drivers that include a Microsoft digital signature are continually being added to the Windows Update website for easy download to your computer. The Microsoft digital signature ensures the integrity of the device driver and confirms that the program has gone through quality testing. No matter what kind of device you add to your computer, Windows makes it easy to install and use.
Adding a hardware device.
In this exercise, you'll learn to install a device by using the Add Hardware wizard. You'll also learn to configure settings for a hardware device.
Although Windows automatically detects most plug-and-play devices, you might occasionally need to initiate installation for some devices. To install a device using the Add Hardware wizard, you must be logged on as an administrator. Let's manually install a modem on this computer by using the Add Hardware wizard. Click Printers and Other Hardware.
Click Add Hardware. Click Next. Windows searches the computer for a new plug-and-play device connected to your computer. Because the wizard doesn't detect a new device, you're asked if new hardware is connected to the computer. The hardware is already connected, so click Next.
To add a device that isn't in the list, click twice below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Add a new hardware device and click Next. To install the new device manually, click this option and click Next.
You're installing a modem, so click Modems and then click Next. Select this checkbox and click Next.
If you're not sure who manufactured your modem, you can try using a standard modem with the speed matching your modem. Under Models, click twice below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click this modem in the list and click Next. To install the modem on the recommended port, click COM1. Click Next. Windows installs the modem. Click Finish.
You can now use Device Manager to verify that the modem is correctly installed and to change its settings. Click System. In the System Properties dialog box, click the Hardware tab. Click Device Manager.
You can use Device Manager to check hardware status, update device drivers, and change hardware settings. You must have administrative rights to change device drivers or settings by using Device Manager. Let's display the settings for the new modem. Click the plus sign to the left of Modems. The modem that you just installed appears in the list.
Click this modem. Now click the Properties button. Click the Modem tab. To increase the speaker volume, click here.
To view other modem settings, click the Advanced tab. Click Change Default Preferences. To increase the amount of time allowed for each attempted call, type 90. Click OK. Click OK again.
Using the Add Hardware Wizard and Device Manager, you can manually install and configure new hardware devices.
Updating a device driver.
In this exercise, you'll learn to update a device driver by using the Hardware Update Wizard.
When you're logged on as an administrator, you can use Device Manager to update the driver for an existing hardware device. Click the Start button, right-click My Computer, and then click Properties on the shortcut menu.
Click the Hardware tab. Click Device Manager. Click the plus sign to the left of Modems. Currently, the modem installed on this computer uses a standard device driver. Although the modem will function using this driver, it's best to use the driver provided by the manufacturer of the modem.
Let's use the Hardware Update Wizard to install the preferred modem driver. Click this modem. Click the Update Driver button. Click this option and click Next.
To choose a specific driver, click this option and then click Next. To view a list of modems, clear the Show Compatible Hardware checkbox. A list of modem manufacturers and models is displayed.
In the Manufacturers list, click Standard Modem Types. Type AZ. Notice that the list of manufacturers has scrolled to the first entry matching the letters you typed. In the Models list, click twice below the scroll box on the scroll bar. click this model and click Next. The wizard installs the driver. To complete the installation of the updated driver, click Finish.
As new drivers become available for the hardware devices on your computer, you can easily update your device drivers to improve performance. Configuring to use multiple monitors.
In this exercise, you'll learn to set up the desktop to display on multiple monitors.
Windows includes settings for viewing the desktop on multiple monitors, giving you more desktop space to work with. After you connect an additional monitor, you need to change the display settings to view the desktop on both screens. Click Appearance and Themes.
Click Display. In the Display Properties dialog box, click the Settings tab.
To extend the desktop to include the second monitor, click this icon. Now select this checkbox. This setting enables you to view the desktop on both monitors at once.
You can reposition the monitor icons to match the physical arrangement of your monitors. The secondary monitor is physically to the left of the primary monitor, so drag the icon for the secondary monitor here. After you click OK, the desktop will reflect the position of these monitor icons. By configuring the desktop to span more than one monitor, you can increase your workspace to view multiple documents and programs simultaneously.
In this lesson, you learned to describe plug and play.
You used the Add Hardware wizard to manually add a hardware device, and you used Device Manager to verify installation of the device and change device settings.
You used the Hardware Update wizard to update the driver for an existing hardware device.
Finally, you configured the computer's display settings to enable the desktop to display on multiple monitors. As you work with your computer over time, you'll need to add and remove software when your computer needs change or when new software applications become available. To make this process as easy and reliable as possible, Microsoft Windows XP Professional includes services such as Windows Installer, Automatic Updates, and Windows Update.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe the purpose and functionality of Windows Installer. You'll also be able to add and remove programs. You'll be able to describe how to download software updates from the Internet. Finally, you'll be able to describe the purpose and advantages of Compatibility Mode.
Introduction to Windows Installer.
Windows Installer manages both the installation and removal of software by applying a group of setup rules during the installation process. These setup rules also define the configuration of the installed program. In addition, if you're interrupted during installation, Windows Installer enables you to cancel and continue from the same point later.
Windows Installer tracks changes made to the system during installation, enabling it to make corrections if there's a problem. If a severe problem occurs, it removes the changes made up to the point of failure. Windows Installer also ensures that components shared by multiple programs aren't accidentally replaced with older versions during setup.
Windows Installer can diagnose problems and repair a program after it's installed. Programs can query Windows Installer to determine if any files are missing or corrupted. If this happens, you're prompted to insert the installation CD so the needed files can be replaced.
When you uninstall a program, Windows Installer prevents any shared components from being removed. It also records changes to the computer's configuration. Windows Installer helps to ensure that your computer will work reliably, no matter how often you install and uninstall programs.
Adding and removing programs.
In this exercise, you'll learn to add a program using Control Panel. You'll also learn to remove a program.
Suppose you want to install Microsoft Office 2000 on a computer. To use Add or Remove programs to do this, you need to be logged on to the computer as an administrator. Let's assume that you're logged on as an administrator and you're ready to install Office 2000. Click Add or Remove Programs. Now click Add New Programs. Click CD or Floppy. Assume that the installation CD is in the CD-ROM drive. Click Next. Windows searches for and displays the path to the installation program. Click Finish.
This wizard will guide you through the rest of the installation. By default, the wizard displays the username and organization name that were provided during computer registration. For the purposes of this exercise, you can assume that these are correct, so click Next. After you've finished reading the license agreement, click I accept the terms in the license agreement and then click Next.
If you want to select specific features of the software to install, you can click Customize. To install the entire program, click Install Now. You're prompted to wait while Windows installs the program. The amount of time this process requires varies depending on the speed of your computer. A message appears notifying you that the setup was successful. Click OK.
Now let's use this window to remove a specific feature, in this case an individual program from the Office 2000 suite of programs. Click Change or Remove Programs. Here you can remove all of Office 2000, or you can install or remove specific Office 2000 programs and features. Go ahead and click Change.
Click Add or Remove Features. Here you can specify which features to add or remove. Click this arrow next to Microsoft Access for Windows and then click Not Available.
To fully remove Microsoft Access 2000 from your computer, click Update Now. A message notifies you that the changes were successful. Click OK. Microsoft Access 2000 is now removed from the computer. Overview of automatic updates and Windows Update.
Automatic Updates is a Windows feature that enables you to automatically download and install software updates over the Internet. These updates include the latest critical software revisions, updated device drivers, and new product enhancements that are specific to the software and hardware on your computer. These revisions help fix known problems, such as security or performance issues, and provide the latest versions of various Windows components. By default, Windows automatically downloads updates when you're connected to the Internet and the required bandwidth is available. You are then notified when the updates are ready to be installed. To view and install the available updates, you can click the icon in the notification area of the taskbar. You can then select the specific updates you want to install.
You can configure automatic updates by using the Automatic Updates tab of the System Properties dialog box. In addition to the default setting, automatic updates can be configured to notify you before downloading any updates and then notify you again when downloads are ready to be installed. If you prefer manual updating, you can also use this dialog box to turn off automatic updates entirely.
The Windows Update website is the online extension of Windows that helps you manually identify and select updates for your computer's operating system, software programs, and hardware. New content is added to the site regularly, so you're assured of getting the most recent updates to protect your computer and keep it running smoothly. Clicking Scan for Updates on the home page of the website will cause Windows Update to scan your system and give you a list of suggested components based on your current installation. Keep in mind that some updates might require that you restart your computer. Be sure to save your work and close any open programs before installing any updates.
Automatic updates and Windows Update make it easy to fix known problems and help keep your computer working at peak performance.
Overview of Compatibility Mode.
In the past, many Windows-based programs were designed to share common files. This helped computers with limited resources run multiple programs. Today's powerful computers no longer need to share files to run a variety of programs. As a result, modern Windows-based programs are increasingly self-contained.
This greatly improves both program and operating system stability. However, older programs designed to share resources might have problems running with an operating system that separates files for individual programs.
For this reason, Windows XP includes technology that enables programs that worked with Microsoft Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows NT, and Windows 2000 to continue to work with Windows XP. Windows XP isolates programs that are designed to share resources, which should enable them to install and run normally without input from users.
If a problem does arise when using an older program, you can manually set the program to run in Compatibility Mode. To do this, you right-click the program's shortcut and click Properties on the shortcut menu. On the Compatibility tab, you would select the Run this program using Compatibility Mode checkbox. You can then choose which version of Windows you think will be most compatible with the program. With Windows XP, you can continue using programs designed to work with earlier versions of Windows.
In this lesson, you learn to describe how Windows Installer ensures stability when you add or remove software.
You used Add or Remove programs to install a suite of programs and to uninstall a program.
You learn to describe how Automatic Updates installs critical updates and how you can download important software from the Windows Update website.
Finally, you learned how Compatibility Mode ensures that older programs will continue to work with Windows XP.
If you've ever misplaced a file or a note, you know that sometimes it can be difficult to find a piece of information, even if you typically are well organized. Microsoft Windows XP Professional enables you to quickly locate specific files, even if you can't recall their exact names or locations.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to locate and open files stored on your computer. You'll also be able to open a file from a program. You'll be able to open recently used files. Finally, you'll be able to search for files stored on your computer.
Opening and saving a file.
In this exercise, you'll learn to locate and open files from the My Documents window. You'll also learn to save a file. Finally, you'll learn to change a folder view to display the folders list.
Opening files so that you can view, edit, or print them is one of the most common tasks you'll perform in Windows. To open a file named Letter that's stored in the My Documents folder, click the Start button and click My Documents. By default, the My Documents folder contains the My Music and My Pictures folders. These three files were created by a user and saved in My Documents.
This pane contains a list of common tasks you can perform with files and folders, links to other places on your computer, and a Details area that will display information about a selected file or folder. Tasks in this pane will change depending on the type of file or folder that's selected. Double-click the Letter file to open it. The document opens in WordPad, the program in which it was created.
Let's modify this letter to send to someone else. To change the name in the salutation, double-click Charles and type Maria. To save the edited document under a different file name, click the File menu and click Save As.
The Save As dialog box indicates that the file will be saved to the My Documents folder. The File Name box displays the name of the selected file. To rename the modified document, press the right arrow key to place the cursor at the end of the current file name and then type 2. Now click Save. Notice that the document's new name is displayed on the title bar. To close the file, click the Close button. The new file is saved to the My Documents folder.
The default view of a folder window displays only the contents of that particular folder. However, Windows provides a quick way to see all of the files and folders on your computer by enabling you to change the default view. To change this folder view to display the folders list, click Folders. Notice that the folders list replaces the links to common tasks in the left pane. The Folders list displays the hierarchy of folders on your computer, while the Details pane displays all of the files and folders in the currently selected folder.
The minus sign to the left of the My Documents folder indicates that it's already expanded to display the folders it contains. To expand the My Pictures folder, click the plus sign to its left. My Pictures contains one folder named Vacation. Click the Vacation folder. Notice that the folder's name appears on the title bar and the Details pane displays its contents.
Because the Vacation folder is a subfolder of My Pictures, the default view is Filmstrip. In Filmstrip view, picture files appear in a single row of thumbnail images, with the selected file displayed in an enlarged view. You can use the Filmstrip tools to select the previous and next pictures in the Filmstrip or rotate the selected picture. Double-click the Matterhorn thumbnail to open the file. The picture opens in Image Preview.
Windows offers many useful tools for viewing, locating, and opening the files and folders that you need. Opening a file from a program.
In this exercise, you will learn to locate a file on your computer by using the Open dialog box. You'll also learn to open a file from a program.
Most Windows-based programs include an Open dialog box that helps you locate and open files. Let's use the Open dialog box in Microsoft Paint to open a bitmap file named Venice. Click the Start button and click Paint.
To locate the Venice file, click the File menu and then click Open. You can use the Open dialog box to browse to and open a file on your computer or on a local or home network. The Look-in box displays the name of the current folder. You can click this arrow or these shortcuts to specify a different location to look for a file. This box will display the name of any file you select, and this box specifies the type of files that are displayed.
Windows creates a folder thumbnail for each picture folder. Up to 4 files are displayed as images or icons on a folder background, and the sort order you select for the folder determines how files are displayed. The complete folder name appears underneath the thumbnail. To continue navigating to the Venice file, double-click the Vacation folder.
Click the Venice thumbnail and then click Open. The file opens, but only part of the image is visible. To get a better view of the picture, click the Maximize button on the title bar of the Paint window.
When you're working with a Windows-based program, the Open dialog box provides a convenient way to locate and open files.
Opening recently used files.
In this exercise, you'll learn to use the Run command to open a recently used file. You'll also learn to open a recently used file using the My Recent Documents list. Finally, you'll learn to clear the contents of the My Recent Documents list.
Windows enables you to open recently used files without opening the program used to create them and without browsing to the location where the files are stored. To open a file using the Run command, click the Start button and click Run.
The Run command can be used to open programs, folders, and files on a computer or network. To do this, you can type the name and location of a program, file, or folder in the Open box and click OK. You can also type the name of a disk drive in the Open box to display a list of recently used documents that are stored on that disk drive. Type C. This list displays the locations of recently used files on Drive C. For the purposes of this exercise, click the first item in the list. To open the file, click OK. The file opens in WordPad. To close the document, click the Close button.
You can also display a list of recently used documents on the Start menu. To display items in the My Recent Documents list, click the Start button and point to My Recent Documents. Click Letter to. To close the Letter to document, click the Close button.
If the My Recent Documents list becomes cluttered with items, you can clear its contents. To do this, right-click an empty area on the Windows taskbar and then click Properties on the shortcut menu. Click the Start Menu tab. Click Customize. Click the Advanced tab. Now click Clear List. Click OK. Click OK again.
To confirm that the contents have been cleared, click the Start button. Point to My Recent Documents. The contents of the list have been cleared.
Searching for files on your computer.
In this exercise, you'll learn to search for a file by using its name. You'll also learn to search for a file that contains specific text.
If you can't remember the location of a particular file, you can use the Search Companion to find it. Let's use the Search Companion to search for a specific image file named Matterhorn. Click the Start button and then click Search. The first time that you use the Search Companion, you'll need to specify whether you want to view the results with an animated character or as plain text. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Go ahead and click Turn Off Animated Character.
This pane displays different search types. Because you're searching for an image file, click Pictures, Music, or Video. Now select the Pictures and Photos checkbox. Click in this box and type Matterhorn.
It might take a moment for the Search Companion to return the results. The Search Companion found 2 copies of the file. It's the file you wanted, so click Yes, Finished Searching. Now that you've found the file, let's open the folder that contains this copy. Click this icon. Under Results Tasks, click Open the folder that contains this item. The Vacation folder opens and the Matterhorn image is displayed as a thumbnail.
You can also search for a document if you don't know its name. Let's search for a letter that contains the word Charles. Click the Close button on the title bar of the Vacation window. To open the Search Companion again, click Search. Because you're searching for a letter that was created using WordPad, click Documents.
Now click Use Advanced Search Options. Click in this box and then type Charles. Click Search. One WordPad document is found. Go ahead and double-click the letter icon. Notice that the search criterion, the name Charles, appears in the document.
The Search Companion can help you find files using a variety of criteria.
In this lesson, you located and opened a file from the My Documents window, and you saved a file.
You changed a folder view to display the folders list.
You opened a file from a program by using the Open dialog box.
You opened recently used files by using the Run command and the My Recent Documents list.
Finally, you searched for files by using the Search Companion. The information on a computer's hard disk takes the form of many different types of files stored in folders. Organizing folders in a logical structure helps you to quickly find the information you need. Microsoft Windows XP Professional includes new features that simplify and improve file management.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to create and rename files and folders. You'll also be able to move and copy files and folders. You'll be able to create and rename shortcuts to files and folders. Finally, you'll be able to delete and recover files and folders.
Creating and renaming files and folders.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create and rename a folder. You'll also learn to create and rename a file.
Let's suppose you want to create a new folder in the My Documents folder that will be used to store memos and letters. Under File and Folder Tasks, click Make a New Folder.
The new folder appears in the Details pane on the right. To give the new folder a descriptive name, type Correspondence. The new name is applied to the folder.
At some point, you might decide to rename a folder, perhaps to better identify its contents. The Activities folder actually contains information related specifically to volunteer activities, so let's rename it. Click the Activities folder in the right Details pane. Under File and Folder Tasks, click Rename this folder. Type Volunteer Activities. The folder is renamed.
After you've created folders, you can use them to store your files, including documents that you create. To see how this works, double-click the Correspondence folder. The Details pane on the right shows that this folder is currently empty. To create a new WordPad document in this folder, click the File menu. Point to New, and then click WordPad Document.
The new document is created and appears in the Details pane of the Correspondence folder. To name the new document, type Training Issues and then press Enter. You can also rename files at any time, just as you can folders. To return to the My Documents folder, click Back. Double-click the Volunteer Activities folder. Let's change the name of the article file to Newsletter so that its name will more accurately describe its contents.
Click the Article file. Under File and Folder Tasks, click Rename this file. Type Newsletter and press Enter. Creating and renaming files and folders are tasks that you can perform from within any folder.
Moving and copying files and folders.
In this exercise, you'll learn to move files by using the Move This File command. You'll also learn to move folders by dragging them. You'll learn to copy files by dragging them. Finally, you'll learn to copy files and folders to a floppy disk by using the Copy and Paste commands.
To organize the files and folders on your computer, you'll often need to move or copy them to different locations. Let's use this pane to move the insurance agency file. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click the Insurance Agency file. Now click Move this file.
You can use this dialog box to select a destination for the file. Click the plus sign to the left of My Documents. Click the Correspondence folder. Now click Move. The Insurance Agency file is moved from the My Documents folder to the Correspondence folder. To verify that the file was moved, click Folders. The Folders list is opened. Now click the Correspondence folder in the Folders list. The file is now stored in the Correspondence folder.
Windows enables you to use different procedures to move files and folders. Let's move all of your files related to volunteer work to a central location. To navigate back to the My Documents folder, click Back. To move the Volunteer Activities folder, drag it to the Organizations folder in the Details pane.
The Volunteer Activities folder is no longer visible in the right pane because it is now contained within the Organizations folder. Click the Organizations folder in the Folders list to display its contents. The Volunteer Activities folder now appears in the right pane.
You can also copy files and folders to different locations while leaving the original copy intact. Let's try this out. Click Back to return to the contents of the My Documents folder. Using the right mouse button, drag the Seminar Notes file to the Work folder. click Copy Here on the shortcut menu. Notice that the original Seminar Notes file still appears in the My Documents folder. To open the Work folder, double-click it in the Details pane. This folder now contains a copy of the Seminar Notes file.
Windows also enables you to copy items to other locations. Let's copy a file and a folder to a floppy disk. Click Back to display the contents of the My Documents folder. The Work folder is already selected. To select an additional item, hold down Control and click this Seminar Notes file. Click the Edit menu and then click Copy.
Now you can use the Paste command to create a copy of the selected items on a floppy disk. Let's assume that a disk has been inserted in the floppy disk drive. Click the plus sign to the left of My Computer. Click here. To paste the items that you copied, you can use the keyboard shortcut for the Paste command. Hold down Control and press V. Both the file and folder are copied to the floppy disk. When you need to reorganize the folders and files stored on your computer, you can easily move or copy them to new locations.
Creating shortcuts to files and folders.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create shortcuts to files and folders. You'll also learn to rename a shortcut. Finally, you'll learn to delete a shortcut.
If you want to gain access easily to a file or folder from a particular location, you can create a shortcut to that file or folder. A shortcut is a special type of icon that you can double-click to open a file or move directly to a folder. Let's create a shortcut in the My Documents folder to a file that's used frequently. Click the File menu, point to New, and then click Shortcut. The Create Shortcut wizard will guide you through the process of creating a new shortcut.
To select the file that the shortcut will point to, click Browse. Click the plus sign to the left of My Documents. Click the plus sign to the left of Work. Now click the plus sign to the left of Directory Information.
Let's create a shortcut to a commonly used phone list. Click the phone list file and then click OK. The complete path of the file is displayed here. Click Next. The default name for the shortcut needs to be changed to a more descriptive name. Type important phone numbers and click Finish.
If you need to work regularly with a set of files that are stored in a single folder, it's a good idea to create a shortcut to that folder directly on the desktop. One way to do this is by dragging. Click the Restore Down button on the title bar of the My Documents window. Using the right mouse button, drag the Work folder to this location on the desktop. Click this command on the shortcut menu.
To open the Work folder, double-click its shortcut. The contents of the folder appear in a separate window. Click the Close button on the title bar of the Work window.
You can easily delete a shortcut that you no longer need without deleting the file or folder that it points to. Right-click the shortcut to the Legal folder and then click Delete on the shortcut menu. You're prompted to confirm that you want to move the shortcut to the recycle bin. Click Yes. Only the shortcut is moved to the recycle bin. The Legal folder and its contents are still stored in their original locations, even after you delete the shortcut to the Legal folder.
Windows makes it easy for you to access files and folders quickly, regardless of where they are stored on your computer.
Deleting and recovering files and folders.
In this exercise, you'll learn to delete a file, and you'll learn to delete a folder. You'll also learn to restore a deleted file to its original location. You'll learn to restore a deleted folder to a different location. Finally, you'll learn to empty the recycle bin.
The Memos folder contains folders and files that have accumulated over time. Let's unclutter this folder and free up some disk space. Click the Shopping List file. Notice that the File and Folder Tasks list expands to display several file tasks. Click Delete this file. You're prompted to confirm that you want to move the file to the recycle bin. Click Yes. The file is moved to the recycle bin.
You can also delete several items at once. Click this file. Hold down Control and then click the Business Memos folder. Both items are currently selected. Press Delete. Click Yes. The items are moved to the recycle bin.
As long as an item remains in the recycle bin, you can restore it to any location that you choose. Let's restore a file to its original location. To open the recycle bin, click My Documents. Now click Desktop. Double-click Recycle Bin. Click the To-Do List file. Notice that Restore this item is now available. Click this task. The file is restored to its original location.
You can also restore a file or folder from the recycle bin to a new location. Click the Business Memos folder. Click the Edit menu and then click Move to Folder. You can use this dialog box to select a destination for the folder. Click above the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Desktop and then click Move.
To verify that the folder has moved, click Desktop. The Business Memos folder is now displayed with the contents of the desktop.
Click Back to return to the contents of the recycle bin. If you want to permanently delete a file from the recycle bin, you can select the file and then press Delete. If you want to empty all of the items in the recycle bin simultaneously, you can click Empty Recycle Bin. Click this command. Click Yes. The recycle bin is now empty. You can permanently delete folders, files, and shortcuts to increase free disk space and help minimize the number of unnecessary items stored on your computer.
In this lesson, you created and renamed files and folders.
You moved a file by using the Move This File command.
You moved and copied files and folders by dragging them.
You copied a file and folder by using the Copy and Paste commands.
You created a shortcut by using the Create Shortcut wizard.
Finally, you deleted and recovered files and folders. Printing in Microsoft Windows XP Professional begins with connecting to a printer. After that's done, you can easily print files and track the progress of your print jobs. Whether you want to print a photograph, a letter, or a web page, Windows supports a wide variety of printers and printing options to meet your needs.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to add and configure a printer. You'll also be able to print multiple files at a time. Finally, you'll be able to manage multiple print jobs.
Adding a printer.
In this exercise, you'll learn to add a printer to a computer. You'll also learn to modify printer settings.
Although Plug and Play enables you to begin using many printers as soon as you attach them, at some point you will likely be required to add one manually. To add a printer, click Printers and Other Hardware. Click Add a Printer. The Add Printer wizard appears. Click Next.
By default, this wizard is set to automatically detect and install an attached plug-and-play printer. To manually install the printer instead, clear this checkbox. Click Next. Here you can select the port to use. Most printers use the default port, so click Next.
Now let's select the printer manufacturer and model. Press H. In the Printers list, click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click this model. Click Next.
This page of the wizard is used to assign a name for the printer. The default name is fine, so click Next. Here you can choose to share the printer with other network users and specify the share name that will be presented to those users. This printer is for local use only, so click Next.
If you leave the default option selected here, a test page will print so that you can confirm proper installation. Click No and then click Next. To close the wizard, click Finish. The printer driver files are copied to the correct location and the printer is installed.
Now let's change some of the default settings for the printer. To select the printer that you just installed, click this icon. Click Set Printer Properties. Click the Advanced tab. If you regularly print multiple jobs at the same time, you can configure the printer to print a separator page between each document. Click Separator Page.
To select a separator page file, click Browse. Windows opens this folder by default and displays these preset separator page files. You need to choose a file that will work with the specific type of printer installed on your computer. Windows Help indicates that this file is compatible with the printer you just installed. Go ahead and click this file and then click Open. Now click OK. Windows will now print a separator page before each document.
You can also use the Properties dialog box to change the printer's default paper size. Click the Device Settings tab. Click this arrow and click Legal. Click OK to apply the new settings. The printer is now configured to insert a separator page between print jobs and to print on legal-sized paper.
Printing documents and files.
In this exercise, you'll learn to print an open file. You'll also learn to create a desktop shortcut for a printer. You'll learn to print a document by dragging. Finally, you'll learn to print multiple files at once.
Windows allows for a variety of ways to print a file. One way is to click the Print command on the File menu. To print this picture file, click the File menu and click Print. In the Print dialog box, you can modify the print job before sending it to the printer. Click Preferences.
To make the orientation of the paper match the shape of the image, click Landscape. Click OK. Now click Print. A printer icon appears on the Windows taskbar, informing you that a document has been sent to the printer.
Now let's add a desktop shortcut for the printer and use it to print a file. Click the Close button on the title bar of the Paint window. Click the Start button and then click Control Panel. Click Printers and Other Hardware. Click Printers and Faxes. The Printers and Faxes window will now be resized so that the desktop is visible. Click this icon, click the File menu, and then click Create Shortcut.
To place the shortcut on the desktop, click Yes. A shortcut for this printer is now on the desktop. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click My Documents to display the contents of the folder.
Double-click the Memos folder. Drag the vacation request file to the desktop printer shortcut you just added. A printer icon is once again displayed on the Windows taskbar, indicating that a print job is in progress.
Windows also enables you to print several documents or files simultaneously. To return to the My Documents folder, click Back. Click the Maximize button on the title bar of the My Documents window. Double-click the Letters folder. To select documents contained in this folder, click this document, hold down Shift, and then click the fourth document. Right-click any of the selected documents and click Print on the shortcut menu. The documents are now printing as if you had first opened them and then clicked the Print command on the File menu.
Controlling a print job.
In this exercise, you'll learn to check the status of a print job. You'll also learn to pause and resume a print job. Finally, you'll learn to delete multiple print jobs from a printer's queue.
When you send a file to a printer, Windows stores the file until the printer is ready to accept it. Through the use of a print queue, Windows allows you to check the status of a file's print job while it is waiting to print. To open the print queue and check the status of the current print job, double-click the printer icon in the notification area of the taskbar.
This dialog box displays print job status, owner, and the number of pages left to print for each file in the print queue. You can pause a print job that's currently being printed or waiting in the queue. Pausing can be useful if, for example, you want to change the paper in the printer paper tray without canceling the print job. Click this file, click the Document menu, and then click Pause.
The selected print job is now paused. To restart it, right-click the selected file and click Resume on the shortcut menu. You can also cancel a print job while a document is in queue.
Let's delete several print jobs from the queue. Click Don02, hold down Shift, and then click Suan01. Now click the Document menu and click Cancel. You're prompted to confirm the cancellation. Click Yes.
Depending on the processing speed of the computer and printer, it might take a few moments to cancel print jobs. Notice that the two files are now removed from the print queue, the print job you paused and resumed is printing, and one file is still waiting in the queue.
When a file is queued for printing, you can easily check its status as well as pause or cancel its print job before it goes to print.
In this lesson, you added a printer using the Add Printer wizard and configured its settings to insert a separator page and change the paper size.
You created a shortcut on your desktop to a printer and then dragged a file to the shortcut for quick printing.
You printed multiple files from within the My Documents window by selecting them, right-clicking, and using the shortcut menu.
You checked the status of a print job using the print queue.
You paused and resumed a print job from within the print queue.
Finally, you deleted multiple print jobs from the print queue. When you're connected to the Internet, a wealth of information is available to you. From the latest business and financial news to the daily newspaper from a foreign city, information from around the world is literally at your fingertips on the Internet. Using Microsoft Windows XP Professional, you can easily set up an Internet connection.
After completing this lesson, you will be able to describe different ways of connecting to the Internet. You'll also be able to set up an Internet connection using an existing account. Finally, you'll be able to set up an Internet connection through a corporate network.
Overview of Internet connections.
Currently, the most common way to access the Internet is by using a dial-up connection. With a dial-up connection, a computer uses a modem to dial up and connect to an Internet Service Provider, or ISP. The ISP has an access point to the Internet through which the computer connects. Although a dial-up connection is the most affordable way to connect to the Internet, connection speed is limited by modem speed. It also requires dialing up to the ISP each time you wish to access the Internet.
Another way to connect to the Internet is by using a digital subscriber line, or DSL, which provides high bandwidth connectivity over ordinary telephone lines. Although DSL is more expensive than a dial-up connection, DSL can transmit and receive data at speeds many times faster than dial-up. In addition, with DSL, one phone line can carry both voice and data signals, and the data portion of that line can be continuously connected. This means your computer can be connected to the Internet every time you turn it on, and you can talk on the phone and access the Internet at the same time.
With a cable modem, you can connect to the Internet using a cable TV line. Although there are some drawbacks to cable modems, including inconsistent connection speeds, depending on the number of other cable users connecting in your area, and somewhat limited availability, a cable connection can download data at a rate that is comparable to DSL and several times faster than a dial-up connection. Like DSL, cable connections provide continuous access to the Internet.
Setting up Internet accounts.
In this exercise, you'll learn to set up an existing Internet account with an Internet Service Provider.
If you already have an account with an Internet Service Provider, you can use the new connection wizard in Windows to set up your computer to connect to the Internet using that account. Let's set up an Internet connection using Daniel's ISP account. To open the new connection wizard, click the Start button. Point to All Programs and point to Accessories. Point to Communications and then click New Connection Wizard. The welcome page of the wizard appears. Click Next.
Click Next again. To set up this computer to connect using an existing account, click this option. Click Next. Daniel's account will connect using a telephone line and a modem, so click Next. To give this connection a name, type MSN. Next. On this page of the wizard, you are asked to provide the telephone number used to connect to the ISP. Type 555-0123 and click Next.
To provide the username and password, type Daniel706 and press the Tab key. Press the Tab key and type the text that appears in the text window again. Default, new connections assign the same account name and password for users attempting to gain Internet access. By default, new connections are also firewalled to protect your computer from common Internet security threats. Click Next.
To complete setting up the connection, click Finish. Click the Start button. Notice that the Start menu now has a new command for making connections. Point to Connect to and click MSN. The Connect MSN dialog box opens. Before you can begin to view web pages, you will need to connect to the Internet, so click Dial. The modem dials the ISP, Daniel's username and password are verified, a connection is established, and he now can begin browsing the Internet. Connecting to the Internet through a local network.
In this exercise, you'll learn to connect to the Internet through a corporate LAN.
Let's use the Internet Options dialog box to connect this computer to the Internet through a company's local area network, or LAN. Click Network and Internet Connections. Now click Set up or change your Internet connection.
This tab of the Internet Options dialog box is used to configure both dial-up and LAN connections to the Internet. Click LAN Settings.
Here you need to specify if the LAN uses a proxy server to connect to the Internet. If the LAN uses a proxy server, you can enter the settings manually. Let's have Windows automatically detect the proxy server. Select the Automatically Detect Settings checkbox and then click OK.
After closing the dialog box, you can connect to the Internet at any time by clicking Internet Explorer on the Start menu. To complete the configuration, click OK.
With only a few steps, you can configure your computer to connect to the Internet through a LAN and begin taking advantage of the web.
In this lesson, you learned about the different types of Internet connections and considerations for their use.
You connected to an existing Internet account by using the New Connection wizard.
Finally, you connected to the Internet through a corporate LAN by using the Internet Options dialog box. Microsoft Windows XP Professional includes Microsoft Outlook Express, a program that you can use to send and receive email messages. When you have an Internet connection, you can use Outlook Express to exchange information with colleagues and friends around the world. Outlook Express also enables you to keep track of messages you've sent and received.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to create and send an email message. You'll also be able to open and reply to an email message. Finally, you'll be able to organize, manage, and delete email messages.
Composing and sending an email message.
In this exercise, you'll learn to compose a new email message and attach a file to an email message. You'll also learn to save an email message. Finally, you'll learn to send an email message to multiple recipients.
Outlook Express makes it easy to communicate with others online. To open Outlook Express, click the Start button and click Email. Let's create a new email message. Click Create Mail.
Entering information in the subject line can help recipients manage and organize messages. Click in the subject box and type Employee Orientation.
When you need to share files that you've created using other programs, you can attach the files to an email message. Let's attach a file that contains training information to this message. Click the Insert menu and click File Attachment. In this dialog box, you can browse for the file that you want to attach.
Double-click the Reports folder. Click Training Issues and click Attach. An Attach box now appears in the message window and displays the name of the file that you just attached.
You can also save a draft of an email message to work on later. To save this unfinished message, click the File menu and click Save. Click OK. Click the Close button on the title bar of the Employee Orientation window. The new message is stored in the Drafts folder by default.
When you're ready to finish composing a message and send it, you can open the message in the Drafts folder and continue working on it. Go ahead and click the Drafts folder. Double-click the message to open it. Click here and type the text that appears in the text window.
You can type an email address directly in the To box or select a contact from the address book. To view the listings in the address book, click To. To address this message to Daniel Penn, click his name in the list and click To.
When you want to send a copy of a message to recipients who aren't directly concerned with an issue but who should be kept informed, you can add them to the CC box. Click Joe Howard and click CC. Now click Suki White and click CC. Click OK.
The message is ready to be delivered. Click Send. The message is sent, and the Drafts folder is empty.
Opening and replying to an email message.
In this exercise, you'll learn to change the text style for all messages. You'll also learn to open an email message and reply to an email message.
Outlook Express uses indicators in the folders list and on the status bar to let you know that you have unread messages in your inbox. A sealed envelope icon in the message list indicates an unread item, while information about the message is displayed in bold. Below the message list is the preview pane, which allows you to view the contents of a selected message without opening it in a separate window.
Before you open and reply to the unread message, let's change the text style for all outgoing messages. Click the Tools menu and click Options. Click the Compose tab.
You can use the options on this tab to personalize your email messages. Go ahead and click this Font Settings button. A dialog box opens with the name of the font used for the text already selected. Type V. Notice that the list of fonts has scrolled to the first entry matching the letter you typed. Click Verdana in the font list.
You can also change the color of the text. Click the color arrow and click Purple. To apply the new settings, click OK. Click OK again. The font settings for composing messages are changed.
Now let's open the unread message. Double-click the message. Notice that this message was sent to more than one person. To respond to only the original sender of the message, you can click Reply. If you want to send a copy of the message to someone else, you can click Forward.
To reply to both the sender and the other recipients of the original message, click Reply All. A new message appears with the sender and the other recipients entered in the To and CC boxes, an automatic subject entered, and the original message text copied below.
To enter a reply, type the text that appears in the text window. Click Send. The message is sent. Notice that the message icon has changed, indicating that a reply was made.
When you're working with Outlook Express on your own, be sure to explore the options for formatting, reading, and replying to messages.
Managing email messages.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a folder for storing email messages. You'll also learn to move an email message to a different folder and delete an email message. Finally, you'll learn to view messages you've sent.
By default, Outlook Express creates 5 mail folders: Inbox, Outbox, Sent Items, Deleted Items, and Drafts. These folders will serve most of your immediate needs. However, if you receive many messages, you might want to clear out the inbox by moving the messages to more meaningful locations. Let's create a new folder for storing messages related to employee orientation. Click the File menu, point to New, and then click Folder.
To name the folder, type Orientation Ideas. To create a new top-level folder instead, click Local Folders and click OK. The folders list displays the new folder.
Now let's move the selected email message to the new folder. Click the Edit menu and click Move to Folder. The Orientation Ideas folder is already selected, so click OK. To verify that the message was moved, click the Orientation Ideas folder. The message is now in the new folder.
You can also move any email message to a folder by dragging it. Click the Inbox folder. Drag this message to the Orientation Ideas folder. Click the Orientation Ideas folder again. The second message is now in the new folder as well.
If you no longer need a particular message, you can delete it. Click the Inbox folder. Click this message. Click Delete. Outlook Express doesn't immediately delete the message. Instead, the message is moved to the Deleted Items folder.
Click the Deleted Items folder. To permanently delete this message, click it and then click Delete. You're prompted to confirm the deletion. Click Yes.
By default, every time you send a message, Outlook Express saves a copy. To view the messages that you've sent, click the Sent Items folder. These copies provide you with a record of all your correspondence.
With Outlook Express, you can create and use folders to help you stay organized.
In this lesson, you composed an email message using Outlook Express and attached a file to it.
You saved a draft of a message in the Drafts folder to work on later.
You finished composing a message and sent it to multiple recipients using the To and CC boxes.
You changed the text style for all outgoing messages.
You opened an email message and then replied to the sender and all recipients of the original message using the Reply All button.
You created a folder to organize and store messages.
Finally, you moved a message to a folder to save it, and you permanently deleted a message. The World Wide Web contains a vast amount of information that's constantly growing and being modified. Microsoft Windows XP Professional includes the tools that you can use to view and organize web content, even if you're offline. In addition, you can use features included with Windows to add and update your own content on the web.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to search for information on the web. You'll also be able to view favorite and previously visited web pages. You'll be able to publish files to the web. Finally, you'll be able to view web pages while working offline.
Searching for information on the web.
In this exercise, you'll learn to search for a web page by using the Search Companion in Windows. You'll also learn to use the Search Companion from within Microsoft Internet Explorer. Finally, you'll learn to search for a web page by using the address bar.
With millions of websites available, it can be challenging to find the information that you need. However, by using the Search Companion, you can quickly find a web page that contains specific information. To open the Search Companion, click the Start button and click Search. This pane displays different search types. To search the Internet, click this option.
Suppose you know that MSN has a web page devoted to women's issues called Women Central, but you don't know the exact address of the page. You can use keywords to search for it. To begin the search, click in this box and type Women Central. Internet Explorer opens with the Search Companion in the Explorer bar and an MSN search page here. The search returns links to pages that contain the words you typed.
Click the first link in the list. The MSN Women Central web page is displayed. Notice that you can also use the Search Companion to find a specific chat room, a word in the results page, or continue searching using other search services. To display more of this web page, click the Close button on the Search Companion Explorer bar.
You can also perform a search by typing Go, Find, or question mark followed by a word or phrase in the address bar. Let's search for the MSN Health website. Click in the address box to select the text. Now type the text that appears in the text window.
Several links to websites are found in the search. To view more of the matches, click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Now click this link.
When you only know the subject matter of a website, you can use the search companion or address bar to quickly find the information you're looking for.
Viewing favorite and previously visited web pages.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a desktop shortcut to a web page. You'll also learn to add a web page to the Favorites list and view a web page using the Favorites list. You'll learn to organize the Favorites list. Finally, you'll learn to view a web page using the History list.
When you find a website that you like, you can create a shortcut on your desktop to quickly access it again. To create a desktop shortcut for this website, click the File menu, point to Send, and click Shortcut to Desktop. To verify that the shortcut has been created, click the Minimize button. You can now connect to the site again by double-clicking this shortcut. To restore the minimized window, click the Women's Central on MSN Taskbar button.
Another way to easily locate a website that you like is to use the Favorites list. To add this site to the Favorites list, click the Favorites menu and click Add to Favorites. The name that's suggested in the name box is fine, so click OK.
The web page is added to the Favorites list. Let's see how it works. First, let's view a different page. Click the Home button. The MSN home page appears. To view the Favorites list, click the Favorites menu. Notice that this menu contains a shortcut to the Women's Central website. Click the shortcut. The Women's Central homepage is displayed.
In addition to using the Favorites menu, you can open the Favorites Explorer bar. Click Favorites. The Favorites Explorer bar appears. Suppose that you want to keep all the MSN sites in a group. You can do that by adding a folder to the Favorites list. Click Organize.
You can use this dialog box to create folders, rename or delete items, and move items in the Favorites list to folders. Click Create Folder. To name the new folder, type MSN Links and press Enter.
Click this link and then click Move to Folder. Now click MSN Links. Click OK. The remaining MSN links will be moved to the folder for you. Click Close.
Notice that the Women's Central and other MSN links no longer appear in this list. That's because they're now stored in the folder that you created. To display the links, click MSN Links. When you add a folder to the Favorites list, it will appear as a submenu of the Favorites menu. Folders are an easy way to organize a large list of favorites.
If you need to quickly find a website that you've visited recently but haven't added to the Favorites list, you can use the History list. Click the History button. The Favorites Explorer bar is now replaced by the History Explorer bar, which displays the sites that you viewed recently. To organize the list differently, click View and click By Order Visited Today. The list is rearranged.
Let's open a site that was visited during an earlier session. Click this link in the History Explorer bar. The new site appears. To close the History Explorer bar, click the History button again.
You can use the History list and the Favorites list to quickly display the websites that you visit frequently.
Publishing files to the web.
In this exercise, you'll learn to select a file to publish to the web. You'll also learn to publish a file to a Microsoft Online storage area.
Suppose you want to share notes from a recent seminar with your friends or colleagues. Using the Web Publishing Wizard, you can copy a file or folder to a web server. You can start this wizard from any folder that contains files. First, you must select the file or folder that you want to publish. Click the Seminar Notes file. Notice that Publish this file to the web is now available under File and Folder Tasks. Click this task to start the Web Publishing Wizard. Click Next.
This page lists all the files that were available in the folder you started the wizard from. Because you selected the Seminar Notes file before you started the wizard, it's already selected. You can publish additional files by selecting their checkboxes. Click Next. Here you can choose where to publish the file. The selected option will publish the file to a Microsoft Online storage area. To use this option, you must have a Microsoft.net passport. This account doesn't have a passport, so click Next to begin creating one. The .net Passport Wizard starts. Click Next.
Let's assume you have an existing email account under the name Suki White, so click Next. On this page of the wizard, you must provide your account's email address. Type suki@wingtiptoys.com.
To provide a password, type the text that appears in the text window and then press the Tab key.
If you forget your password, you can confirm your identity by providing the correct answer to a secret question. To select a secret question, click this arrow and click Favorite Teacher's Name. To answer the question, click in this box and then type White.
On this page of the wizard, you need to provide the area that you live in. Click the state arrow and click California. Now click in the zip code box and type 32606. Click Next. To complete setting up the passport and return to the Web Publishing Wizard, click Finish. Click Next.
Now you need to select the folder that you're publishing to. You can select a folder in this list, or you can create a new folder. Click My Web Documents and click Next. The file is copied to your Microsoft Online storage area. To close the Web Publishing Wizard and open a web browser to view the published file, click Finish.
You are prompted to provide your MSN Passport username and password. Type suki@wingtiptoys.com. The document is successfully published to the web and can be viewed from any computer with Internet access by using the proper MSN Passport username and password.
Browsing web pages while offline.
In this exercise, you'll learn to save a web page to the hard disk. You'll also learn to make a web page available offline. Finally, you'll learn to view a web page offline.
Suppose that you want to view this web page later, when you're no longer connected to the Internet. Using Microsoft Internet Explorer, you can make web pages available offline. Let's save this web page to the local hard disk. Click the File menu and click Save As. By default, Internet Explorer will save the web page complete with graphics, frames, and text. The file name will be the same as the title of the web page. To store a copy of the web page in the My Documents folder, click Save. A copy of the web page is saved to the hard disk.
Now let's view the copy of the web page while offline. Click the File menu and click Work Offline. This text on the title bar notifies you that you're using Internet Explorer without an Internet connection. Click in the address box. Type My. The autocomplete list contains possible matches for the address that you've begun typing. To display the contents of the My Documents folder, click here.
To open the saved copy of the web page, double-click this icon. The web page is displayed in a separate window. This page contains several links to other web pages. Point to this link. Notice the appearance of the pointer. Because you're still working offline, the pointer indicates that the links are not functional. Go ahead and click the link. If you follow a link on a saved web page while offline, you'll be given the option of connecting to the Internet or staying offline. Click Stay Offline.
If you want the links on a web page to be functional offline, you can make the web page an offline favorite. To do this, you need to be working online. Click the Close button on the title bar of the window. Click the File menu and click Work Offline. To return to the MSN Health website, click Back.
To make this page and the pages that it links to available offline, click the Favorites menu and click Add to Favorites. Select the Make Available Offline checkbox. To specify the settings for viewing this page offline, click Customize. Click Next.
On this page of the wizard, you can specify whether you also want to make links to other pages available offline. Click Yes. Click Next. On this page, you can set up a synchronization schedule. You don't need to set up a schedule, so click Next.
If you're making a secure web page available offline, you can enter a username and password on this page. You don't need to enter a username and password, so click Finish. Click OK. Depending on the amount of web content you're making available offline and the speed of your Internet connection, this process may take some time.
To test the new offline favorite, let's switch to working offline again. Click the File menu and click Work Offline. Now click the Favorites menu. Notice that some of the items on this menu appear dimmed, indicating that they aren't available offline. The red dot that you see next to this item means that it includes linked pages.
Click the Favorites menu again to hide it. Now click the MSN Home link. You are still working offline, and the web page linked from the new offline favorite appears just as if you were connected to the Internet.
In this lesson, you found information on the web using the Search Companion.
You searched the Internet using Internet Explorer.
You created a desktop shortcut to a web page, and you viewed a favorite web page.
You published a file to a Microsoft Online storage area.
Finally, you saved a web page to a hard disk, and you viewed a web page offline. Sometimes you might want to view or copy a file that's stored on another computer. You might also want to use a printer or other hardware device that's not directly attached to your computer. By sharing resources on a network, you can access information and devices that might not otherwise be available to you.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe networking basics. You'll be able to share and access network resources and map a drive letter to a network resource. You'll also be able to create a shortcut in My Network Places. You'll be able to describe Active Directory and search for a computer on the network. Finally, you'll be able to print to a network printer.
Networking Basics.
In its simplest form, a network consists of at least two computers that are connected together. Connecting computers enables them to communicate with each other as well as share information and resources.
Computers can be connected together in different ways. Typically, computers that are running Microsoft Windows XP Professional are connected to a local area network or LAN. A LAN is a network that's located within a limited area, such as a room or building. More than one LAN can be connected to form a larger network across an organization.
You can also use a modem to connect your computer to a private network or to another computer. When your computer is connected to the Internet, you can establish a connection between networks by creating a virtual private network or VPN. You can also use a direct cable connection to link two computers.
By connecting a computer to a network, you can access files, folders, and hardware devices on other computers, and you can allow other people to access files, folders, and hardware on your computer. Connecting to a network also enables you to share Internet connections, CD-ROM drives, and printers.
Windows XP is specifically designed for network use, enabling you to browse network resources the same way that you browse the contents of your own computer.
Sharing resources on a network.
In this exercise, you'll learn to share a folder to a network. You'll also learn to copy a file to a shared folder on a different computer. Finally, you'll learn to copy a file from a shared folder on a different computer.
If you share a folder stored on your computer, other users on the network who are assigned the appropriate permissions can connect to your computer and access the shared folder. You're logged on to the Wingtip Toys domain as a member of the administrators group. To share the budget folder, right-click the folder and click Sharing and Security on the shortcut menu.
Click Share this folder. If you want to change the name of the shared folder, you can type a new name in the Share Name box. The new name is what users will see when they browse to the shared folder, but the actual name of the folder doesn't change. You can also type information about the shared folder in the comment box. You can use the settings in this area to limit the number of users who can connect to this shared folder at one time. The default setting, Maximum Allowed, enables 10 users to connect to the folder at once.
You can click this button to set up permissions for how users can access this folder over the network. By default, the Everyone group has full control of the contents of a shared folder. To allow everyone on the domain access to this folder, you must also assign the appropriate NTFS permissions. For the purposes of this exercise, the NTFS full control permission will be assigned to the Everyone group for you.
You can click this button to set up a shared folder that can be used offline. To share the folder with the default settings, click OK. Notice that the folder icon now has a hand under it. This indicates that the folder is a shared resource.
Now let's copy a file from the My Documents folder on this computer to a shared folder on another computer. Let's assume that the shared folder and NTFS permissions for the Templates folder on PC3 have been set to allow every user on the network full control of its contents. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click My Documents. Click Supply Request Template and click Copy this file.
In the Copy Items dialog box, click the plus sign to the left of My Network Places. Click the plus sign to the left of Entire Network. Now click the plus sign to the left of Microsoft Windows Network.
To display the other computers on the Wingtip Toys domain, click this plus sign. Now click the plus sign to the left of PC3. Click the Templates folder and then click Copy.
Let's verify that the document has been copied to the Shared Templates folder on PC3. Click My Network Places. Click Entire Network. Double-click Microsoft Windows Network. To access the resources on the Wingtip Toys domain, double-click Wingtip Toys. Double-click PC3. double-click the Templates folder. The Supply Request template document that you copied appears in the folder.
Now let's copy a file from the Shared Templates folder on PC 3 to the My Documents folder on your computer. Click Fax Template. Click the Edit menu and click Copy. Click My Documents. To paste the file, click the Edit menu and click Paste. The file is now stored in your My Documents folder.
Mapping a network drive.
In this exercise, you'll learn to assign a drive letter to a shared folder on a network. You'll also learn to disconnect from a mapped network drive.
If you connect to the same network computer or folder often, you might want to map a drive letter to that resource. When you map a drive, you can access it from within all Windows-based programs, just as if it were a drive on your computer. Let's assign a drive letter to a shared folder on another computer. Click the Tools menu and click Map Network Drive.
By default, new network drives are assigned the next available drive letter starting from Z to A. To choose a different drive letter, you can click this arrow and select the letter that you want. If you know the path to the resource that you want to map to, you can type it in the folder box. To browse the network for the resource, click Browse.
To view the computers on the Wingtip Toys domain, click this plus sign. Click the plus sign to the left of PC 3. Click Templates and then click OK. Click Finish.
The shared folder is mapped to a drive letter and its contents are displayed in a new window. You can access a mapped resource only when the host computer is available on the network. Click Folders. Notice that two mapped drives are available, along with drives on the local computer.
If you no longer need to map a network drive, you can disconnect it. To disconnect the mapped drive letter from this resource, right-click it and then click Disconnect on the shortcut menu. The mapped drive letter to the shared folder is removed. By mapping a network drive letter to a shared resource, you can quickly access network files, folders, and printers that you use often.
Connecting to your network places.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a shortcut to a specific network location. You'll also learn to connect to a network location using a shortcut.
You can use the Add Network Place wizard to create shortcuts in My Network Places that connect to shared resources on other computers, web servers, and FTP servers. Let's create a network place for Microsoft's public FTP site. To start the Add Network Place wizard, click Add a Network Place.
Click Next. This option will create a shortcut that connects to your Microsoft Online storage area. This option allows you to create a shortcut to any of your network places, such as a shared folder, a folder on the Internet, or an FTP site. Click Choose another network location and click Next.
On this page of the wizard, you can browse to or type the path to the network resource that you want to create a network shortcut for. To specify the URL of the Microsoft FTP site, type the text that appears in the text window and click Next.
If the FTP site you're connecting to requires a username and password, you can clear this checkbox and enter the required username here. You'll be prompted to enter your password when you connect to the FTP server. You can log on to Microsoft's FTP site anonymously, so click Next.
On this page of the wizard, you can enter a name for the network place. The default is fine, so click Next. Click Finish. The contents of Microsoft's FTP site are displayed. This FTP site enables you to download files such as product fixes, updated drivers, utilities, and documentation. You can open any of these files or copy them to your computer, just as you could with any shared folder that you have read-only permissions to.
Active Directory Basics.
Active Directory is the directory service implemented on Windows 2000 Server and used by Windows XP Professional. It catalogs information about the users, computers, and printers on a network. Active Directory provides centralized information storage, enabling users and administrators to quickly find and use network resources.
Active Directory stores a distinct set of attributes about each object on a network. For example, the attributes of a printer can include its name, location, and printing speed. The attributes of a user might include the user's first name, last name, and email address. You can use attributes to search for a network resource, even if you have only partial information about the resource.
Active Directory also provides administrators with powerful tools to manage security, while making it easy for users to securely access resources. Using Active Directory, you need to log on only once to find and use resources anywhere on the network. In addition, Active Directory enables administrators to manage multiple domains from one location and to integrate and synchronize new additions to a network.
By providing a central location for resource information, security, and network management, Active Directory makes it easy to find items on a network and reduce management tasks.
Searching for computers on your network.
In this exercise, you'll learn to search for a computer by browsing the network. You'll also learn to search for a computer by using the search companion.
Sometimes you might need to locate a file that's stored on a different computer on the network. You can use the My Network Places window to browse to computers, shared folders, and other shared resources on a network. Let's browse the network to find PC3, which is a member of the Wingtip Toys domain. To view all computers on the network, click Entire Network.
Double-click Microsoft Windows Network. Double-click Wingtip Toys. Double-click PC3. Here you can view shared folders and other resources available on the selected computer.
If you're not sure of a computer's location on the network and don't want to browse directly to it, you can use the search companion to find it. Click Search. The search companion is displayed here. To specify the name of the computer that you're searching for, type PC1.
Click Search. To access the shared resources on PC1, double-click this icon. You can now access the shared folders, files, and printers on PC1.
Printing to a network printer.
In this exercise, you'll learn to find a shared printer based on specific features. You'll also learn to print to a network printer.
Hardware devices that are shared to a network can be useful to everyone who uses computers on the network. If you're logged on to a domain running Active Directory, you can search for a printer on the network. Let's search for a color printer that you can use to print this image file. Click the File menu and click Print.
The default printer attached to this computer, Printer 1, can print only in black and white. To find a color printer on the network, click Find Printer. To specify attributes that Active Directory will use to find the printer, click the Features tab. Attributes that you can search for include the capability to print in color, print on both sides of the page, and staple the printed pages. Select the Can Print Color checkbox and click Find Now.
Active Directory has located a network printer that can print in color. To connect your computer to this printer, click Printer 2 and then click OK. Now that you've connected to the printer, you can use it as if it were attached to your computer. Notice the check mark next to the Printer 1 icon. Currently, that's the printer that will be used to print a file. To print from the newly connected printer, click Printer 2 on PC 3 and click Print.
This icon indicates that the file has been sent to the printer. To view the status of the print job, double-click this icon. Because Active Directory stores the specific attributes of hardware devices and other network resources, you can search for and access resources on a network, even if you don't know their physical locations.
In this lesson, you learned to describe the advantages of networks.
You shared a folder to a network, copied a file to a shared folder, and copied a file from a shared folder.
You mapped a drive letter to a shared folder on a network.
You created a shortcut to an FTP site by using the Add Network Place wizard.
You connected to the FTP site by using the network shortcut.
You learned to describe the functionality and advantages of Active Directory.
You browsed to and searched for network computers.
Finally, you used specific attributes to search Active Directory for a network printer, and you printed from that printer.
If you're away from your desk, you can still gain access to the files stored on your computer. Using a Microsoft Windows XP Professional dial-up connection enables you to connect two computers over a telephone line. After they're connected, the computers can communicate and exchange information.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe dial-up networking and how it works. You'll also be able to create and modify a dial-up connection. You'll be able to accept a dial-up connection from a remote computer and connect to and disconnect from a corporate network. Finally, you'll be able to access your office computer from home.
Overview of dial-up networking.
While working at your desk, you can easily use files and folders that are stored on your computer or your company's local network. But what happens when you're away from the office and you need to use your office computer or network? Using a dial-up connection, a computer that's running Windows can attach to another computer through a telephone line.
For example, suppose you have a computer in your office that's connected to the company's local network. This same computer also has a modem that's connected to a phone line. While you're away from your desk, you can use another computer with a modem to call the office computer. The computer in your office answers the call, checks identification and passwords, and establishes a connection.
While working remotely, you can do nearly everything you would while in the office. Depending on how permissions are configured for the dial-up connection, you can print to network printers, view network drives and files, and even check your email messages.
To help you create a dial-up connection, you can use the New Connection wizard. This wizard can help you connect to a private network, to the Internet, or directly to another computer. Windows automatically configures the appropriate networking services.
You can also use the New Connection wizard to create a virtual private network or VPN. A VPN is a secure connection to a private network that you can access by using the Internet. This means that even when you're traveling, you can dial into a local Internet service provider and then set up a VPN session and work just as if you were in the office.
Creating a dial-up connection.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a dial-up connection to a network. You'll also learn to modify dial-up connection settings.
Let's assume that you're working on a portable computer that's set up to connect directly to the network at your workplace while you're in the office, but needs to be set up to dial into the office from home. To begin setting up a dial-up connection, click Network and Internet Connections.
To create a connection to the network at your workplace, click this task. The New Connection wizard starts.
On this page of the wizard, you can establish a dial-up connection using a regular phone line or create a virtual private network connection over the Internet. Because you're using a modem and a phone line to connect to a network, the selected dial-up connection is fine. Click Next. Windows enables you to create many different connections, so it's a good idea to give each one a meaningful name. Type Wingtip Toys Office.
Here you need to type the phone number of the computer that you're connecting to. type 555-8083. On this page, you can make the connection available to any user on the computer or only to yourself. To make the connection available to anyone, leave the default and click Next. Click Finish.
To verify that the connection was created, click Network Connections. A connection icon for the Wingtip Toys office is now available in the Network Connections window.
Sometimes you might need to modify the settings for a connection. To modify the connection that you just created, right-click Wingtip Toys Office and click Properties on the shortcut menu. You can make a number of changes to a dial-up connection from this dialog box.
Often, a network will have more than one number you can use to make a dial-up connection. Let's add an alternate phone number that this connection can use if the primary phone number fails. Click Alternates. Click Add. Type 555-8084.
The computer will dial this number first, and if a connection isn't made, it will dial this number. Click OK. Click OK again. The connection now includes an alternate phone number. Using Windows, you can quickly create and modify dial-up connections.
Accepting dial-up connections.
In this exercise, you'll learn to set up a computer to accept incoming connections.
This computer contains files that need to be viewed and updated while team members are away from the office, so it needs to be set up to accept dial-up connections. To create an incoming network connection, you must be logged on as an administrator. To configure this computer to accept incoming dial-up connections, click Network and Internet Connections. Click Network Connections.
Click Create a new connection. Click Next. Click Set up an advanced connection and click Next.
Accept incoming connections is already selected, so click Next. The incoming connection will use a telephone line, so select this checkbox. Click Next.
You don't need to set up this computer to accept VPN connections, so click Next. On this page of the wizard, you can specify which users can connect to this computer. If the username that you want to add isn't in the list, you can create a new dial-up user account by clicking the Add button. The user that you want to add is listed, so select this checkbox.
If you want to save long-distance charges while you or a coworker are traveling, you can set up the office computer to hang up and call the remote computer back. To activate the callback feature, click Properties. Click the Callback tab. Click Allow the caller to set the callback number. Click OK. Click Next.
On this page of the wizard, you can select and modify the networking components that you want to enable for incoming connections. The default selections are fine, so click Next. Click Finish to complete setting up the new incoming connection. Notice that the Network Connections window now includes the Incoming Connections icon. This computer is now ready to accept incoming dial-up connections.
Connecting and disconnecting.
In this exercise, you'll learn to open a dial-up connection to a network. You'll also learn to monitor the status of a dial-up connection. Finally, you'll learn to disconnect a remote computer from a network.
Let's use this portable computer to connect to the office from home. Click Network and Internet Connections. Click Network Connections. The Network Connections window displays all of the connections that have been created for this computer. To connect to the Wingtip Toys Office network using this computer's modem, double-click Wingtip Toys Office.
The Connect Wingtip Toys Office dialog box appears. The username and password you enter must match those configured for the computer that will accept this incoming connection. To save time, the username and password will be typed for you. To establish the connection, click Dial.
Using a modem and a telephone line, the computer dials the phone number and establishes a connection. Because the callback feature is enabled on the host computer, you're given the option to set a callback number. This is useful if you're making a long-distance call and need to keep charges to a minimum. Go ahead and click Cancel.
You're now connected to the office computer and can begin working remotely. Notice that a connection icon appears in the notification area and that the Wingtip Toys Office icon is no longer dimmed, indicating that the connection is active.
To display the status of the connection, right-click the Wingtip Toys Office icon and click Status on the shortcut menu. This dialog box displays connection status information as well as connection activity information. To disconnect from the network, click Disconnect.
With Windows XP, you can easily open a dial-up connection to an Office network and disconnect when you're finished using the Office network resources.
Accessing your desktop from a remote computer.
In this exercise, you'll learn to connect a remote computer to an Office computer using Remote Desktop.
Using the Windows Remote Desktop feature, you can connect to your Office computer from a remote location and open programs, edit files, and access shared network resources as though you were sitting in front of your Office computer. You can also use Remote Desktop to share a computer among coworkers while maintaining separate program and configuration sessions, and you can collaborate with a colleague by making your desktop accessible from your colleague's computer. Let's set up this Office computer so that Daniel Penn can access it using Remote Desktop. Click Performance and Maintenance.
Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click System. Click the Remote tab. On this tab, you can select the ways that the computer can be used from another location, including remote assistance and remote desktop.
You must be logged on as an administrator to configure Remote Desktop. To allow users to connect remotely to this computer, select this checkbox. Now you need to specify which users can connect remotely to this computer. Click Select Remote Users. Click Add. You can use this dialog box to specify which users or groups will be added to the list.
You can click the Object Types button to define whether you are looking for users, computers, or groups. This search will look for users, so leave the default. You can click the Locations button to specify whether to search the local computer, the domain, or the entire network directory. Daniel's user account is on PC 3, so leave the current selection.
Type Daniel Penn. Click OK. Daniel has been added to the list of users with remote access. Click OK. Click OK again. The Office computer is now set up so that Daniel can access it remotely.
To use Remote Desktop to access the Office computer, you must also have a second computer with access to the Office network using a network connection, modem, or VPN connection. This computer must have Remote Desktop connection installed. Let's assume that you're now logged on to Daniel's portable computer, which has Remote Desktop connection installed and has already been connected to the Office network.
Click the Start button and point to All Programs. Point to Accessories, point to Communications, and then click Remote Desktop Connection. To enter the name of the computer you want to connect to, type PC3. Click Connect.
You're now connected to the Office computer, and you're prompted to enter a password to log on. To save time, the password will be typed for you. Click OK. Now that you're logged on, you have access to programs, files, and shared network resources as if you were in front of the office computer. Keep in mind that because you're connecting remotely, some applications might take longer to run.
To close the remote connection, click the Start button and click Log Off. Click Log Off again. The remote connection is closed and you're returned to the portable computer desktop.
In this lesson, you learned how to describe a dial-up connection and how it works.
You created a dial-up connection with the new connection wizard and modified a dial-up connection.
You connected to and disconnected from a corporate network from a remote computer.
You set up a computer to accept incoming connections by using the new connection wizard.
Finally, you used remote desktop to access your office computer from a portable computer. After you've worked on a computer for a while, you'll probably adjust a number of settings according to your personal preferences. Microsoft Windows XP Professional saves these personal settings as a profile. Profiles can be created for both user settings and for hardware settings. By creating and using profiles, Windows can easily adapt to the needs of different users and hardware configurations.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe roaming user profiles and their benefits. You'll also be able to create an additional hardware profile for a computer.
Overview of roaming user profiles.
If you've ever tried to work at another person's computer, you might have noticed that their Windows desktop was set up differently than your own. Preferences such as color scheme, desktop shortcuts, mouse settings, and network connections often vary from one user to another. Windows can remember these collections of settings called local user profiles and apply them each time that you log on. A separate user profile can be created on each computer that you use, or an administrator can assign you a roaming user profile.
A roaming user profile is stored on a network server and is available for use on any Windows 2000 or Windows XP Professional computer on the network. For example, imagine that while attending a critical meeting, you realize that your desktop computer contains important documents relevant to the meeting. If your administrator has assigned you a roaming user profile, you can log on to the nearest network computer that supports roaming user profiles and gain access to the documents on your computer.
A roaming user profile is updated with files that you save to your My Documents or My Pictures folders and with any changes you make to the Start menu, Desktop, or Favorites folder. When you log on to a different computer on the network, your roaming profile is copied to that computer. When you log off, your profile is updated on both the local computer and the server. By using a roaming user profile, whenever and wherever you log on to the network, your documents and custom settings will appear just as if you'd been using the same computer all along.
Creating a hardware profile.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a hardware profile for an undocked portable computer. You'll also learn to configure Windows to wait until you select a hardware profile at startup. Finally, you'll learn to modify settings for a hardware profile.
This is a portable computer that's been set up while it was connected to a docking station. Now that the computer is undocked, it does not have the same hardware available as when it was docked. Let's create a new hardware profile for this undocked computer. Click Performance and Maintenance.
Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click System. Click the Hardware tab. To make changes to hardware profiles, you must be logged on with administrative rights. Click Hardware Profiles.
The current profile was created when this computer was first set up, and it includes settings for devices that are available only when the computer is docked. You can only modify a hardware profile that's currently in use, so let's create a copy of this profile to retain all of the settings for the docked configuration. Click Copy. To name the new profile, type Docked.
To rename the original profile before you modify it, click Profile 1, Current. Click Rename. Type Undocked.
When you have multiple hardware profiles, you can use these arrow buttons to move the hardware profile that you want to use as the default to the top of the list. Here you can specify how long Windows will wait before the default hardware profile is loaded automatically. To prevent accidentally starting Windows with the incorrect hardware settings, click Wait until I select a hardware profile. Click OK.
You're ready to modify the renamed hardware profile. Click Device Manager. Click the plus sign to the left of DVD CD-ROM drives. Click this device. To make the CD-ROM drive unavailable for the undocked profile, click the Disable button. Click Yes. This change is now included in the current profile, and the computer now has a hardware profile that can be applied for use when the computer is away from the docking station.
In this lesson, you learned to describe the purpose and benefits of roaming user profiles.
You created a hardware profile for an undocked portable computer.
You configured Windows to wait until you select a hardware profile at startup.
And you modified the settings for a new hardware profile. In the past, when you worked away from the office, you might have found it difficult to stay up to date on what was happening back at the office. Fortunately, Microsoft Windows XP Professional makes it easy to synchronize the files and folders that you use offline with those on a private network or on the Internet.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe how Synchronization Manager works. You'll also be able to make shared files and folders available for offline use. Finally, you'll be able to synchronize offline changes with the network.
Understanding Synchronization Manager.
When your computer is part of a network, you'll probably need to use files stored on other network computers. But there might be times when you can't connect to the network and access those files, such as when you're traveling. In order to use those shared resources when you're offline, you can create copies of them on your computer. Later, any changes that you made to the copies can be synchronized with the files on the network.
Synchronization Manager provides a single location where you can synchronize files. You can synchronize individual files, entire folders, and offline web pages. When Synchronization Manager runs, it compares items on the network to those that you opened while working offline. If it detects any changes, the files on the network are automatically updated. Then it makes the most current versions available to both your computer and the network. Synchronization Manager can also resolve version conflicts if multiple users have edited the same file.
Synchronization Manager can automatically synchronize information in several ways. Files and folders that you've made available offline can be synchronized every time you log on or off the network. You can also schedule synchronization for specific times, such as every evening. Wherever and whenever you need to work, Synchronization Manager can help you remain productive.
Accessing network files while traveling.
In this exercise, you'll learn to make the contents of a shared folder available offline. You'll also learn to configure Windows for manual file synchronization.
Windows can help you to continue working on shared network files even when you're not connected to the network. Suppose you're leaving on a business trip and you need to complete a report while you're traveling. The files that you need are stored on this mapped drive. Before you disconnect your portable computer from the network, you'll need to make the information available offline. Click the drive to select it. Now click the File menu and click Make Available Offline.
The Offline Files wizard appears the first time that you make files available offline. When you make additional files available offline on the same computer, you won't see the wizard again. To continue creating the initial settings for offline files, click Next.
This page of the wizard gives an example of how Windows will modify file and folder icons when you make network resources available offline. You can select this checkbox if you want to automatically synchronize offline files when you log on and log off of your computer. To accept the default choice for manual synchronization, click Next.
When you're working offline, Windows will periodically remind you that you aren't connected to the network. You can clear this checkbox if you want to disable these reminders. To accept the default settings and complete the wizard, click Finish.
This dialog box indicates that the mapped drive contains subfolders. To ensure that the subfolders are also available offline, click OK. Unless you're synchronizing a large amount of data, the process will take place quickly. If you want to edit the files that you've made available offline, you must have user rights that enable you to edit the network versions of those files. Offline files retain the same security settings as their online counterparts.
Synchronizing offline changes.
In this exercise, you'll learn to manually synchronize offline files with the network versions of the files and resolve conflicting changes made to the same shared file. You'll also learn to schedule synchronization for times when the computer is idle.
If you modify shared files while working offline, you can use Synchronization Manager to ensure that the network versions are updated to reflect your work. This computer has just been reconnected to the Office network, and some of the offline files have been modified while the computer was disconnected.
To update the network versions of these files, click the Tools menu and click Synchronize. If you've made multiple files available offline, you can select or clear checkboxes in this list to choose which files you want to update. Go ahead and click Synchronize.
You're notified that conflicting changes have been made to one of the offline files. This dialog box presents several options for resolving file conflicts, including buttons that you can use to open and inspect the network and local versions of the problem file. In cases where you're not certain which version of a file should be copied to the network, it's a good idea to accept the default setting so that both versions remain intact. Click OK. Both versions will now be available in the same shared folder on the network.
If you need to make a large amount of shared information available offline, you might want to set up your computer to synchronize when it's idle. Click the Tools menu and click Synchronize. Click Setup. Click the On Idle tab. Select the checkbox for the offline files. Now select this checkbox. Click OK. Now the computer is set up to automatically synchronize when it's connected and idle.
In this lesson, you learned that Synchronization Manager provides a central location for managing your offline items.
You made shared files and folders on a network available for offline use.
You manually synchronized offline files and folders and resolved conflicting changes made to one of the files.
Finally, you scheduled synchronization for times when the computer is idle. Much like the engine in a car, your computer may require occasional maintenance to help it operate at maximum efficiency. Microsoft Windows XP Professional provides maintenance tools that help you correct common problems and keep your computer working at peak performance.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to schedule regular maintenance tasks. You'll also be able to optimize computer efficiency. Finally, you'll be able to restore Windows to a previous state.
Scheduling a maintenance task.
In this exercise, you'll learn to schedule a maintenance task. You'll also learn to change the schedule for a maintenance task.
You can use the Scheduled Tasks tool to automatically run programs at regular intervals or at times that are convenient for you. Let's use this tool to set disk cleanup to run each week. To open Scheduled Tasks, click Performance and Maintenance. Now click Scheduled Tasks. A list of the currently scheduled tasks and the times they are scheduled to run appears.
Double-click Add Scheduled Task. Click Next. On this page of the wizard, you choose a program for Windows to schedule. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click Disk Cleanup in the list. Now click Next.
On this page of the wizard, you specify a name for the task and choose how often the task will run. The default name is fine. To set the schedule, click Weekly and then click Next. Let's select the time and day that the task will run. To set this task to run each Friday at a convenient time, click this arrow. Now select the Friday checkbox. Go ahead and click Next.
You can change the name of the user entered here, but the default username is fine. Because the default username is used, a password isn't required, so click Next. Finally, the wizard displays a summary of the settings for the scheduled task. You can further customize the properties for a scheduled task by selecting this checkbox before clicking Finish. The current settings are fine, so click Finish. Disk Cleanup is now scheduled to run every Friday afternoon.
You can also use scheduled tasks to change the schedule for existing tasks. Let's change the schedule for the desktop cleanup task. This task periodically removes any desktop icons that haven't been recently used. To change the task so that it will run each Friday after disk cleanup, double-click it. This dialog box displays the properties for the scheduled task.
Click the Schedule tab. On this tab, you can change the frequency and time that the task will run. Click the Schedule Task arrow and then click Weekly in the list. To set the task to run during lunch, click this arrow. Now clear the Monday checkbox and select the Friday checkbox.
You can set additional options on this tab. These options control advanced aspects of the task, such as how it will perform when the computer is running on batteries. Go ahead and click OK. Suki White's desktop cleanup is now scheduled to run after disk cleanup on Friday during lunch.
Using scheduled tasks, you can set up a maintenance plan that's right for your computing needs.
Optimizing computer efficiency.
In this exercise, you'll learn to remove unneeded files from a hard disk. You'll also learn to defragment a hard disk. Finally, you'll learn to detect and repair disk errors.
Let's assume that this computer is running out of room on its hard disk and you need to free up some space. Click Performance and Maintenance. To use disk cleanup to search for files that can be deleted safely, click this task. First, you need to specify the drive to clean up. To clean up drive C, click OK.
Disk Cleanup is now searching the drive for files that can be safely deleted, such as temporary files, Internet cache files, and unnecessary program files. In this instance, over 3,600 kilobytes of hard disk space can be removed from drive C. The total amount of disk space that will be gained after the selected files are deleted is displayed here. The contents of the recycle bin are taking up a large amount of space, so let's delete those files. Select the Recycle Bin checkbox. Notice that this number increases to reflect the amount of disk space that will be gained by deleting the contents of the recycle bin.
To free more disk space, you can also remove unused programs or optional Windows components using the options provided on this tab. Go ahead and click OK. Click Yes to delete the selected files. The selected files are deleted from the hard disk.
If you notice that programs are running slower than usual, you can improve performance by running Disk Defragmenter. Using Disk Defragmenter, you can rearrange files and unused space on a hard disk. You must be logged on with a computer administrator account to use this tool. Click this task. Now click Defragment. This process will normally take some time when you try it on your own computer.
The hard drive is now defragmented. For additional information about the defragmentation process, you can view the report by clicking the View Report button. To close Disk Defragmenter, click Close. Now click the Close button on the Disk Defragmenter title bar.
Windows also includes the Error Checking tool for checking the hard disk for errors and repairing any damage that might exist. To begin running this tool, click the Close button on the Control Panel title bar. This tool also requires that you be logged on with a computer administrator account. You're currently logged on with this account type, so click the Start menu and click My Computer. Now right-click Local Disk C and click Properties on the shortcut menu.
Click the Tools tab. In addition to the Error Checking tool, this tab contains features for defragmenting a selected drive as well as backing up files stored on a selected drive. Click Check Now to begin checking this drive.
To have the Error Checking tool attempt to repair any bad sectors on the hard disk, select this checkbox. Click Start to begin checking for errors. The Error Checking tool reports that the disk check is complete, so click OK.
You can keep your computer running at optimum efficiency by using Windows maintenance tools.
Restoring Windows to a previous state.
In this exercise, you'll learn to restore Windows to a previous state.
If a computer stops running properly, or if it stops functioning in an optimal way, you can use the System Restore feature to undo changes that might have caused the problem. To run this feature, you need to be logged on with a computer administrator account. Click this task.
System Restore returns the computer to a point in time called a restore point when it was last functioning properly. Windows automatically creates restore points, but you can also manually create one at any time. To restore this computer to one of these points, click Next.
Dates with restore points are indicated by bold dates on the calendar. This list displays the times when restore points were created on the selected day. Click this restore point and then click Next.
This page provides a summary of the restore point that you've selected. You're reminded that you will not lose recent work such as saved documents and email messages as a result of this process. During restoration, Windows will shut down. Afterward, you'll need to log back on to the computer. To continue, click Next. You're logged off Windows and System Restore begins its restoration process.
Depending on the speed of the computer and the number of system changes that need to be made, this may take some time. After the restoration process is complete, the system restarts Windows. Now you'll need to log on again. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Click This User. Because this account is password protected, you're prompted to enter the password. The password has been entered for you, so press Enter. Windows automatically loads the personal settings for the account. After logging back onto Windows, a message notifies you that system restoration was successful. Click OK.
System Restore is a great tool for reversing undesirable changes without losing personal data.
In this lesson, you scheduled a regular maintenance task using scheduled tasks.
You removed temporary Internet and program files from the hard disk using disk cleanup.
You detected and repaired hard disk errors using the error checking tool.
You defragmented a local hard disk using Disk Defragmenter.
Finally, you restored Windows to a previous state using System Restore.
You can configure a computer to conserve power by using the Microsoft Windows XP Professional Power Management features. For instance, when a portable computer is idle for a period of time, Windows can reduce battery power consumption by automatically turning off the monitor and hard disk. By using the Hibernate feature, Windows allows you to turn off your computer and later restart directly to your desktop with programs and files open exactly as you left them.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe power management. You'll also be able to put your computer on standby and put your computer into hibernation. Finally, you'll be able to use power schemes.
Introducing Power Management.
Depending on the hardware you're using, Windows enables you to determine how your computer manages its power requirements. Using Windows, you can configure your computer to be turned off manually or to turn off automatically after a specified period of time. In addition, you can create and use power schemes to quickly switch between different sets of basic power management options.
To take advantage of these features in Windows, your computer needs to comply with a technology specification called Advanced Configuration and Power Interface, or ACPI. This open industry standard is used to integrate power management features throughout a computer system, including hardware, the operating system, and application software. When installed on an ACPI-compliant computer, Windows can manage the power requirements of the operating system, programs, and hardware devices by taking full advantage of such power management settings as standby, hibernation, and power schemes.
On standby, a computer switches to low power mode and turns off the monitor and hard disks. When you press a key or move the mouse, the computer comes out of standby quickly and the desktop is restored exactly as you left it. Standby is especially useful for conserving battery power in portable computers. Keep in mind that information in memory is not saved to the hard disk while a computer is on standby.
If you're going to be away from your computer for an extended period of time, you can put the computer into hibernation. First, everything in computer memory is saved to the hard disk. Then, depending on your specific hardware, hibernation will either automatically turn off the monitor and computer, or you might need to turn them off manually. When you restart the computer, any documents or programs that were open are restored to the desktop exactly as you left them.
By choosing a power scheme, you can apply a preset collection of power management settings that specifies, for example, how long your computer and monitor can remain idle before they are turned off. You can also customize these settings and save them as a new power scheme. Windows can help you manage and conserve power, whether you're working at your desk or using a portable computer on the road.
Optimizing power consumption.
In this exercise, you'll learn to manually put your computer on standby. You'll also learn to manually put your computer into hibernation.
Suki White needs to leave her computer for about an hour, but she's concerned about wasting energy by keeping it turned on. Using the standby mode, she can keep her computer turned on while using little power. To manually put the computer on standby, click the Start button and click Turn Off Computer. Now click Standby.
To use the computer again, you can press any key or move the mouse. Press Spacebar. By default, the computer is password protected during standby or hibernation, so when it comes out of standby, the welcome screen is displayed. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. Notice that Suki is still logged on to the computer. Go ahead and click her username. To save time, the password will be typed for you. Press Enter. The desktop is restored to the way it was before the computer went on standby.
If you'll be away from the computer for an extended time and want to ensure that information in memory is saved to the hard disk, you can place the computer in hibernation. To manually put the computer into hibernation, right-click an empty area on the Windows taskbar and click Task Manager on the shortcut menu.
Click the Shutdown menu and then click Hibernate. Your computer might turn itself off automatically, or you might need to turn it off manually. When you're ready to use the computer again, you can press the computer's power button and the desktop will be restored exactly as you left it.
Using power schemes.
In this exercise, you'll learn to select a power scheme. You'll also learn to create a custom power scheme.
Whether you're working at home, the office, or a remote site, you can configure a computer to save power by using the Power Schemes feature in Windows. In Control Panel, click Performance and Maintenance. Now click below the scroll box on the scroll bar and click Power Options.
The available power options vary according to a computer's hardware configuration, so the options shown here might be different from those on another computer. You can choose from a variety of predefined power schemes by clicking this arrow. Each scheme specifies how much time elapses before Windows turns off the monitor or hard disks, places the system on standby, or places the system into hibernation. The Home Office Desk Power Scheme turns off the monitor after 20 minutes of inactivity without affecting the hard disk, going on standby, or going into hibernation.
Windows also includes a power scheme that helps conserve energy on a portable computer. To use this power scheme, click the Power Schemes arrow and click Portable Laptop in the list. This power scheme specifies that Windows will turn off the monitor after 15 minutes and the hard disks after 30 minutes. In addition, the system will go on standby after 20 minutes of inactivity.
You can customize a power scheme by changing any of these settings. Let's keep the current settings but set the system to hibernate after 1 hour. Click the System Hibernates arrow and click After 1 hour in the list. You can save the new settings under the existing power scheme or save them as a new power scheme. To create a new scheme, click Save As. Press the right arrow key and type 2. Click OK.
To return to the original power scheme, click the Power Schemes arrow and click Home Office Desk in the list. Click OK. The original power scheme is restored.
Whether you're working on a portable computer or using a desktop computer in the office, you can help conserve power by using Windows power schemes. In this lesson, you learned about the advantages of basic power management and the advanced configuration and power interface.
You manually put a computer on standby and into hibernation.
Finally, you selected a power scheme and created a custom power scheme using the Power Options Properties dialog box.
The NTFS file system is the preferred file system for Microsoft Windows XP Professional. A file system specifies the overall structure in which files are named, stored, and organized. The advantages that NTFS holds over other file systems include advanced encryption technology to protect confidential files, built-in file compression to help save disk space, and file and folder level permissions to control access to documents.
After completing this lesson, you'll be able to describe the NTFS file system. You'll also be able to encrypt files and folders. Finally, you'll be able to set and remove NTFS permissions.
Introducing the NTFS file system.
NTFS is a robust file system that offers many advantages. For example, NTFS files are highly secure. Whether you use a laptop computer while traveling or a desktop computer in an office, you might want to protect files and folders that contain important information. NTFS includes file encryption technology that enables you to prevent unauthorized users from opening confidential files.
In addition, the built-in fault tolerance of NTFS helps protect data when hardware failures occur. For example, when a change is written to the hard disk, NTFS creates a record of that change. If a power failure or disk error occurs, Windows can use these change records to repair the data. NTFS also allows for compression of individual files and folders, which can help save space on a hard disk.
NTFS offers other features that make it ideal for use in a business setting or on a large network. It allows greater control over the level of access that users have to files and folders, and it works more efficiently with extremely large files and storage media. If you want to take advantage of NTFS features on your computer, see your system administrator about converting your hard disk to NTFS.
Encrypting files and folders.
In this exercise, you'll learn to encrypt a folder and its contents. You'll also learn to verify that a different user cannot open an encrypted file.
If you need to store confidential information on a computer, you can encrypt a folder to prevent unauthorized access to its contents. Encrypting at the folder level is recommended because any files or subfolders created in or added to an encrypted folder are automatically encrypted. To encrypt the contents of the income tax folder, right-click the folder and then click Properties on the shortcut menu.
Click Advanced. The Advanced Attributes dialog box includes options that enable you to compress or encrypt a folder. To encrypt the folder, select the Encrypt Contents to Secure Data checkbox. Click OK. Click OK again.
To encrypt the contents of the folder, click this option. Click OK. The contents of the folder are now encrypted, and any files or subfolders that are created in or moved to the folder in the future will be encrypted as well.
Let's assume that you're now logged onto the computer as a different user. A My Computer window has been opened for you, and the contents of Drive C are displayed. To see what happens when you attempt to open a file in the encrypted folder, double-click the Income Tax folder. Although you can open the folder, you cannot open the files and subfolders within the folder because the files and any subfolders within the folder are encrypted, as well as any new files created in or moved to the folder.
Now double-click the 2001 file. Because you're not logged on as the user who encrypted this file, access is denied. A similar message appears whenever an unauthorized user tries to open, copy, move, or rename an encrypted file. If you're concerned about keeping files safe from unauthorized access, you can use encryption to make them more secure.
Using NTFS permissions.
In this exercise, you'll learn to set NTFS permissions for a shared folder. You'll also learn to remove NTFS permissions for a shared folder.
With NTFS, you can use both shared folder and NTFS permissions to control access to resources. One strategy is to share folders with the default shared folder permissions and then control access by assigning NTFS permissions. The payroll folder is shared with the default shared folder permissions. Let's restrict which users can access it by using NTFS permissions. Right-click the payroll folder and click Properties on the shortcut menu.
Click the Security tab. The users and groups who have access to the payroll folder are displayed here. Permissions limit the level of access that a user has. Here you can allow or deny permissions to the selected user or group.
The payroll folder contains confidential files that should be accessed only by the accounting department. To allow these employees access, you can assign users in the accounting group full control permission for the folder. First, you need to add the accounting group to the list. Click Add. You can use this dialog box to specify which users or groups will be added to the list.
You can click the Look For button to define the type of object you're looking for, whether users, computers, or groups. This search will look for groups, so leave the default. You can click the Look In button to specify where on the network to look, whether the local computer, the domain, or the entire directory. The accounting group was created in the Wingtip Toys domain, so leave the current selection. To add the accounting group, type Accounting and click OK.
By default, the group is assigned Read and Execute, List Folder Contents, and Read Permission. To assign the group full control permission, select the Allow checkbox for the full control permission. Now users who are members of the accounting group can create, delete, or edit files in the payroll folder.
To restrict unauthorized users from accessing the folder, you must remove the permissions assigned to them. It's a best practice to allow access to administrators of the local computer, so leave the administrators group. These entries provide access to Daniel Penn, who created the folder. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. The Users group includes all users who log on to the local computer PC4. Click the indicated group.
Notice that the group is assigned permissions for the folder, but the check marks are unavailable. This indicates that the folder inherits these permissions from its parent folder, Drive C. Click Advanced. To prevent the folder from inheriting permissions, clear this checkbox. To copy the permissions that were previously inherited, click Copy. Click OK.
Because these permissions are no longer inherited from a parent folder, you can modify them. To prevent members of the Users group from accessing this folder locally, click Remove. The Users group has been removed. Other than the creator of the payroll folder, only members of the accounting group can access this shared resource from other computers on the network.
By setting NTFS permissions, you can control who can access and modify specific files and folders.
In this lesson, you learned the benefits of using the NTFS file system.
You encrypted the contents of a folder and attempted to open an encrypted file as an unauthorized user.
Finally, you employed a strategy of sharing a folder with default permissions and then controlled access by assigning NTFS permissions. You can use Microsoft Windows XP Professional to protect important or confidential data that you store on your computer or send over the Internet. Whether you're backing up files or sending a confidential email message, Windows includes features that can help you safeguard data.
After completing this lesson, you will be able to describe public key encryption. You'll also be able to send and receive secure email messages. You'll be able to create a secure Internet connection. Finally, you'll be able to back up and restore data.
Introducing public key encryption.
When performing transactions or sending messages over a non-secure network like the Internet, public key encryption is an efficient way to authenticate identity and keep data private. Public key systems use digital IDs to encrypt email messages, ensuring that only the intended recipient is able to read a confidential message. You can also use a digital ID to prove your identity in electronic transactions, a concept similar to showing your driver's license when you cash a check.
A digital ID, which is also known as a digital certificate, uses two related electronic keys, a private key and a public key, to encrypt and verify messages. In public key encryption, you make your public key available to anyone with whom you want to exchange encrypted messages. Your private key is known only to you and should be safeguarded.
Your public key can be used by others to encrypt email messages and documents that they send to you. As the sole holder of the matching private key, only you can decrypt the documents. To send encrypted email messages, the sender's address book must contain certificates for the intended recipients.
When you digitally sign an email message, a message digest is encrypted with your private key. By using your public key to decrypt the message digest, the recipient can verify that you signed the message and that it wasn't tampered with.
When you apply for a digital ID at a certification authority's website, they verify your identity before issuing an ID. There are different classes of digital IDs, each certifying the owner's identity to a different level of confidence. These confidence levels are based on how thoroughly the owner's identification is verified. For example, the lowest confidence level might verify only that your email address is valid, while the highest level might require you to show up in person with registered credentials.
Public key encryption technology is supported by a public key infrastructure. This set of operating system and application services makes publishing, managing, and using digital IDs seamless and transparent to the user.
Sending a secure email message.
In this exercise, you'll learn to send a digitally signed email message. You'll also learn to open a digitally signed email message. Finally, you'll learn to send an encrypted email message.
To digitally sign or encrypt mail, you need a digital ID that's been assigned by a Microsoft-approved provider. Let's assume that both you and Joe Howard have already obtained digital IDs. Before sending this message, let's digitally sign it so that Joe will receive a copy of your certificate, which includes your public key. Click the Tools menu and then click Digitally Sign.
This red ribbon icon indicates that the message is now digitally signed. Click Send. The message is sent. Because you digitally signed the message, Joe can be certain of the identity of the sender and that the message hasn't been tampered with.
Let's configure Outlook Express to digitally sign all outgoing messages. Click the Tools menu and then click Options. Click the Security tab. Select this checkbox and click OK. Now all of the messages you send will be digitally signed.
To check if you've received a reply to the message sent earlier, click this button. A new message is available in the inbox. Click the Inbox folder.
The red ribbon that's attached to the envelope icon indicates that the message is digitally signed. When you receive a digitally signed message, Outlook Express will automatically add the sender's certificate to your address book if you don't already have it. The red ribbon that's attached to the sender's entry in the Contacts list indicates that a certificate has been added.
You can read a digitally signed or encrypted message like any other message. Double-click the message to open it. Outlook Express displays a help screen in the message window the first time you open a digitally signed or encrypted message. Click below the scroll box on the scroll bar. To view the message, click Continue.
Now that you have Joe's certificate, you can send him an encrypted message. Click Reply. To save time, the text of the message will be added and a file will be attached for you. Now click Encrypt. The blue padlock icon in the message header indicates that the message is now encrypted.
Click Send. The message is sent, and Joe is the only user who will be able to open it. In addition, because the message is digitally signed, he can be sure that the message was actually sent by you and that it wasn't tampered with in transit.
Creating a secure Internet connection.
In this exercise, you'll learn to create a dial-up connection to a virtual private network.
Using a virtual private network or VPN, you can create a network connection that enables you to securely access resources through the Internet or other public networks. Let's assume that you have an existing account on the Wingtip Toys corporate network. To create a dial-up VPN connection, click Network and Internet Connections.
Click Network Connections. Under Network Tasks, click Create a new connection. The new connection wizard appears. Go ahead and click Next. Click this option to select the connection type. Click Next.
On this page, click Virtual Private Network Connection. When you use a VPN, data is encrypted before it is sent through the public network and is decrypted at the receiving end. Click Next. To give the connection a name, type Wingtip Toys VPN.
A dial-up connection to the Internet has already been created. To automatically dial this connection before establishing the virtual connection, click Next. Here you need to type the host name or IP address of the computer or network that you're connecting to. This information is typically provided by your network administrator. Type the host name that appears in the text window and then click Next.
The dial-up VPN connection is created and a dialog box appears that you can use to initiate the connection. To close the dialog box without connecting, click the Close button. When you need to connect to the Wingtip Toys corporate network, you can open the dialog box by double-clicking this icon.
Using a VPN, you can access network resources as securely as when your computer is connected directly to the network. Backing up data.
In this exercise, you'll learn to schedule a recurring backup job using the Backup Utility Wizard. You'll also learn to back up data to a floppy disk.
The backup utility in Windows helps you create a copy of stored data. In the event of a hardware failure or accidental deletion, you can use the copy to restore lost or damaged data. To start the Backup Utility Wizard, click the Start button. Point to All Programs and point to Accessories. Point to System Tools and then click Backup.
Click Next. On this page of the wizard, you can choose to back up files and settings or restore them from a previous backup. To back up your files, click Next.
Here you need to specify which items you want to back up. To back up specific items, click this option and then click Next.
You can use the tree view on this page the same way you use the folder list in any folder window to open drives and folders and select files. Select the checkbox to the left of the My Documents folder. Click Next.
You can back up your data to a file on a hard disk, a floppy disk, or any type of storage media. If a media device isn't installed, this option is unavailable. In this box, you can type a path and file name for the file that will store the backed up data, or click Browse to choose a backup file. You'll back up data to a floppy disk that has already been inserted into Drive A, so the default is fine. Here you can type a name for this backup. To use the default name, click Next.
To set advanced backup options, such as backup scheduling, click Advanced. On this page, you can select the type of backup that you want to perform. Backup types define what data will be backed up. A description of the selected type of backup is displayed here. Because this is the first time the selected folder is being backed up, you'll want to use the default option. Click Next.
To ensure that the data is backed up successfully, select the Verify Data After Backup checkbox. This option is only available when backup media supports it. Click Next.
If you're attempting to back up data to media that already contains backups, you can specify whether or not to append or replace existing backups on that media. If you choose to replace backups, this checkbox becomes available and allows you to restrict access to the backup file. For this exercise, the media doesn't already contain backups, so click Next.
On this page, you can either run the backup immediately or schedule the backup job for a later time. Click Later. When you create a scheduled job, you need to assign a name to that job. Type Backup Documents.
In this dialog box, you can set the date and time that you want the backup to occur. You can also specify whether you want the job to occur only once or if you want it to be repeated regularly. Let's create a schedule that backs up the selected files at the end of every work week. Click the Schedule task arrow and then click Weekly.
Press the Tab key. Type 5. Clear the Monday checkbox and then select the one for Friday. Click OK. Now that the schedule is set, click Next.
A backup job can run unattended, but requires valid account information for a user with the necessary rights. The current user has backup rights, so all that's required is the password. To save time, the password and the confirmation will be typed for you. Click OK. Click Finish to schedule the backup.
Instead of waiting for the next scheduled backup job, let's back up the contents of the My Documents folder to a floppy disk. Click the Start button and then click Backup. Click Advanced Mode.
Now click the Backup tab. To back up the My Documents folder, select this checkbox. Now click Start Backup. When you start the operation, Backup prompts you for information and gives you the chance to set advanced backup options. You've already set the necessary options using the Backup Utility Wizard, so click Start Backup.
The utility begins backing up the selected files and folders. The backup is complete. The files are backed up, and the job that you created using the wizard will automatically run again at the scheduled times. Restoring data.
In this exercise, you'll learn to restore a data backup using the Restore Wizard.
When you've created a backup for the files on your computer, you can correct problems caused by inappropriate changes or accidental deletions. By default, the backup utility opens in Wizard mode. Click Advanced Mode. To restore backed up data from a file, click the Restore Wizard Advanced button. Click Next.
To restore the files with the most recent backup media available, double-click this option. Now select this checkbox and click Next. This page summarizes the current settings that will be used to restore the selected media.
To set other options, click Advanced. Click the Restore Files To arrow. The Restore Wizard allows you to restore backed up data to its original folder. This option is useful when you're restoring damaged or lost files and folders. Restoring your backed up files to a single folder doesn't retain the file and folder structure of the backed up data. This option would be useful if you needed to restore a file and you didn't know its location in the backup set. Click Alternate Location in the list.
The Alternate Location option retains the file and folder structure of backed up data. This is useful if you want to restore old files without overwriting any current files or folders on your disk. To set the new location, click here and then type Backup Documents.
On this page of the wizard, you can select how the files and folders will be restored. The default option prevents the restore operation from overwriting any files that you want to keep. If you've changed files since your last backup, this option ensures that the files won't be replaced. This option will replace all files with the backup set and erase any changes that have been made since the last backup. To accept the default, click Next.
Here you can select special restore options. To accept the default, click Next. Now click Finish. By default, Backup looks for the backup file in the most recent location a backup was stored. The restore is complete. The restored data is now available in the specified folder.
In this lesson, you learned to describe public key encryption.
You sent a digitally signed email message.
You opened a digitally signed message and sent an encrypted reply.
You created a dial-up connection to a virtual private network by using the new connection wizard.
Finally, you backed up and restored data using the backup utility.